91.9 FM, Street 91.9 FM. We live here on the Third Empire. And as usual, before we begin our discussions, we say thanks to the Almighty for life and thanks for having another day. We always say here, any day above ground is a good day. It is just after 4, and some people did not make it till after 4 today. So we give thanks to the owners of this station for the opportunity to, engage you, the listening public, the pavilion, you, the 12th man on the team, the pavilion, in helping us discuss some matters of state, some issues that are relevant to life and living in effort to create a better Trinidad and Tobago. This afternoon I'm joined by my fellow umpire, my senior umpire, let me add that, Mr. Steve Matheson. He's with us, and he has a guest with him. We try to expose you all to some of the a different level of thinking, of thought, discourse. So we have a very esteemed gentleman in our presence. I'd ask Mr. Matheson to give his greetings, and he will introduce our guest.
Right, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen, listeners. And I follow on from my fellow umpire, Ronaldo Rolox, who too is a very esteemed umpire. And with us, as he was mentioning, we have a very esteemed gentleman by the name of Emerson John Charles. He is the go-to man for in Trinidad and Tobago. As a matter of fact, he wrote the text on innovation. And we have been talking a lot about innovation and digitization and the ease of doing business and why we need to move in the 21st century with respect to business and all our development and operations and developments in terms of how we move forward in Trinidad and Tobago with life and public service and that kind of thing, and why we should embrace innovation. Well, this gentleman that is with us today, he is the quintessential innovation expert in Trinidad and Tobago, and he'll tell you a lot more about himself. I hand you over to Mr. Emerson John Charles.
Good afternoon, everyone. As said, my name is Emerson John Charles. I'm here today as the chair of the Innovation Association of Trinidad and Tobago. I am also the chair of the National Mirror Committee for Innovation Management at the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards, and internationally, I am a recognized ISO National Innovation Expert, where I've been working on the various innovation standards that have recently been created. The one that stands out the most is the ISO 56001. It was published in September, and I'm glad to announce that has very recently been adopted as our national innovation standard, which has a lot of excitement and is groundbreaking for us in Trinidad and Tobago, considering that over the last 17 years, our performance on the Global Innovation Index has been falling quite rapidly. In 2008, we were 68th in the world, and we know as of 2024, we are now 108th in the world, and I'm expecting that we will fall again in 2025.
Right. So that says a lot. That little bit of information says a lot about our guests, and it says a lot about Trinidad and Tobago also. Now, Emerson was a guy I would have met about 10 years or so ago at Lockjack. We were studying, he was doing his executive master's in business development, and I was doing my master's or MBA in human resource management. And so I met Emerson there, and since then we've always been friends. But I've followed and tracked, just like he has been tracking my experience and performance over the years. I have been tracking his development and what he's been doing, and I find it very interesting that there are hardly anybody like him right now in Trinidad and Tobago. But he's been talking a lot about the things that we have been talking about on the radio and in other places, other spaces. So far, I think there is a forum, a labor forum, Caribbean labor forum going on in Cipriani right now as we speak. I was surprised that you weren't on that, or you weren't called, invited. Do they know you are the man?
I don't think so. I have some contacts in various business organizations, but I guess I have to penetrate universities and Cipriani River College in particular.
Yeah. So, but you lecture at the University of West Indies too, right?
I'm actually going to start lecturing in September.
Oh, all right.
Starting off with one course, Technology, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship.
All right. So
So
all of this falls into a lot of the things that we've been talking about.
So, Mr. John Charles, before we even get into your prowess and, you know, the little discussion about what you do, tell the listeners, who are you? Who is Mr. Emerson John Charles?
That sounds like a king name.
Yeah, it sounds like, you know, somebody from down Westmoreland's up on that side. You know, tell us, who are you?
Well, I'm actually Emerson John Charles. He's second, or some people might even.
Okay, see, you're prophetic. You're prophetic.
When I was in mind, the people used to call me EJC3.
Okay.
So I am from Sawa.
Right.
The people who are now getting to know me as innovation, let's say 10 years ago, they usually know me as a fitness guy.
Okay.
And that's because, do you know the Arangway Savannah?
Yes.
There's some outdoor exercise equipment close to the bus route.
Yes.
I put that there. And that's a fitness initiative where I use high level of strength for young men, but that's the outside part. What I do mentorship and training and that type of thing for them. Once I get them, build a relationship with them and that type of thing. I've been doing that for the last 10 years. Got recognized by Ministry of Community Development in 2022, somewhere there for that.
Yes.
But I have, because of COVID, I pivoted and I took my love and dedication for high levels of fitness. I'm now the innovation guy.
Right.
So anything I'm getting into, I try to be the best that I can be. So as I know, as Matheson said there, I have my master's in innovation. I first did my degree in business administration. But as I said, I'm a Sawa man,
right.
born and bred, and I'm trying to get involved in the community.
So you need a voice, you and voice. He's a Sawa man.
He's a Sawa man. I'm proud to always say I'm a Sawa man.
Yes.
You know? So I'm just trying to have with
That's
this innovation
really
thing, I'm trying to have from a community impact, I'm now trying to have a national impact.
Humble beginnings, tell us, what was your background like?
Well,
are you a gold spoon?
No, not a gold spoon.
Are you 1%?
I wish I was a 1%. The name probably my son who I will have in the future may get that.
Yes.
But no, I come from a middle class background.
Yes.
Went to Richmond Street Boys. To Belmont Intermediate.
Okay.
You know, so
that you win.
Yeah, the
Belex man.
Right. Intermediate, yes.
So I'm actually also on the executive of the Alumni Association for that school.
Great.
Belex.
Great.
You know, so Belex to the world, fellas.
And that's a very important point before we go forward, because you know, in all this discussion we've been having lately, especially we just finished SCA exam, and everybody and their grandchild trying to get into St. Mary's, St. Joseph Convent and Fatima. And we often don't track the progress of students who come out of the Belmont, the Somerset, the Southeast, the Woodbrook. And they do well. You may not always find them in UE in the same year group.
But the Tranquils.
And the Tranquil.
Don't forget
I
mean, I didn't go there.
But these schools, they have students that excel and they stand out. You know, we often don't track beyond, well, in our day, you know, is it 6 1s or 7 1s, and if you can get a couple A's, you fall off the earth. You fall off the earth in UE. But you continued your education.
Oh yes, most definitely. And what I would want to say about Belmont, there's no St. Francis Boys College.
St. Francis Boys College. Good correction.
Clark is a Belex man. We know we Sturgeon Minister of Defense is a Belex man.
Yes.
That's what we refer to ourselves.
Yeah.
And I could go down the road in politicians and attorneys. And
Papa.
we even though we may not be the so-called that P word they like to use to those schools, we have had quite an impact.
Yes, and you all have been doing your part in education for young boys.
Yes, exactly.
Correct.
So after that, after school there, I went and did my degree in business.
Right.
And 10 years later, I said, what am I good? I said, okay, let me do another degree. I had no interest or knowledge of innovation. But when I went to Arthur Luckjack and they made a pitch, and I was like, this innovation thing seems interesting. Let me just sign up. And I never looked back. I got hooked and fell in love with the topic.
All right. So what I could see is that we've been running this program for about a little over a month, and we've able to garner quite a great listenership, because what we talk about is what nobody else talk about. We talk about the nuts and bolts of governance to a large extent. We talk about the geopolitics and how it affects the realities, the political reality in Trinidad and Tobago. We talk about some of the issues, the normal current affair issues to a large extent. And we give a lot of intellectual dialogue in terms of how we get things done. We are by profession, as you know, employment law and human resource management professionals. So we do understand the thing from a different side. We understand that productivity is what is one of the things that would move Trinidad and Tobago from where it is to the next level. But we also understand that we are operating in a kind of 1970s reality in terms of how we function. And a lot more could be done in terms of, because instead of moving, we having all the resources and moving with haste, we could move smart.
Exactly.
And get the same thing done for less.
Yes.
Right? And that's where innovation comes in, that's where digitization comes in and that kind of thing. What is your position on aligning the resources with innovation to make that nexus work for Trinidad and Tobago in a very productive way?
Well, let's just first say what innovation is.
Correct.
And when people say innovation, they usually speak about the outcome of a process. So they say, oh, this phone is innovative, or this car is, the Tesla car is innovative. But what we don't really have and understand fully are the processes to go from having an idea and find opportunity, taking it through the 5 steps to creating value, whether it's a new product or service or process or business model. And we also don't know how to strategically manage that. And that's where the International Innovation Standard, the ISO 56001, comes in. Because in reality, we don't know how to strategically manage innovation in this country. And even where we do innovate, we don't even capture the value from it. And that's a very sad thing. And that's lost millions, if not billions, in foreign exchange. And innovation is even more important. Innovation is the major source of competitive advantage today. You hear the word being thrown about so much because it's so important. As I said, we don't know how to innovate. And the examples of lost revenue, very sad story I would say, is the steel pan. Create innovation, and we have different types of innovation, but we could get into that later. But the steel pan, we created it, but how many patents have been filed for that?
Remember we talking that how many patents in general
Exactly.
filed for anything in Trinidad?
I actually have the stats over the last 10-15 years. If you go to the Intellectual Property Office in downtown Port of Spain, most years it's 0. Sometimes by residents I'm talking about it, because internationally they register patents here. But by local citizens, most years it's 0. Some years it's 1. It's never more than 3.
Right, so you see, you remember a few days, when I was in Trinidad, when I had just came back from New York, we were talking about China and the amount of patents they have on a monthly basis, which is in the thousands,
Hundreds
sometimes.
of thousands a year.
Hundreds of thousands a year. We have 1 and 2 in a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes 0.
Right? So that says something about us, and it says something about our education system and our level of thinking.
That is the salient point.
And I've always said, and I don't know if you'd agree with me, because you and I went to the same universities,
Yes.
and we experienced the same thing with the same kind of people.
That's right.
And 90% of the people who go to university just went to get a piece of paper to be able to say, I could get a job, or that I pass my exams. We go to school, we read, we regurgitate, and we pass exams. We read a book, a man, next man, right? We regurgitate, we pass exams, and we come out and we say we write, we have certification. And that is what you are saying here, what we are looking here. Even when we look at the amount of patents we have for the year, that should tell us that we're really not producing anything outside of certificates.
That's right. And as I said, look at our ranking and our scores on the Global Innovation Index. And if you're not measuring something, you can't manage it in the first place to improve it. And we need to have a change in our education system.
Of course. We say that only, I mean, we say that ad nauseum here. Everybody here on this program says that. And I've been hearing that for quite some time. As a matter of fact, when I was at UWE, I was hearing lecturers saying that we need to change the education system. The young lady that was the top award scholarship winner for SEA, she said that. She said they should abolish the SEA, right? And she said why? She said it's destroying the lives and minds of young people. That education system, something is wrong with it, and most people who understand, who could critically think, know what's wrong and know how to fix it too.
But we hear a lot about the need for critical thinking. I would say that, which is important, but the type of people we need to create are what we call design thinkers, which is that same ideation process, that same process of creating, having an idea and knowing how to develop it, and having a culture of experimentation, being willing to fail, which our education system punishes any sort of failure in a very real way. And that, so if you have a whole army of design thinkers, we'll have so much more creativity, so much more innovation, and once with the right systems and processes in place.
I like how you say. I like how you say the system punishes, you know, that kind of thing. I remembered a good friend of mine telling me, who was a mentor to me. He was my mentor, and he said, "Listen, Stephen, the road to success is littered with failure.
Right.
Most people who we call success, who really succeeded, you wouldn't believe how many times they failed before.
Exactly.
They succeeded. But the thing is, they had a drive to succeed. So they went ahead, they used critical thinking, they used everything, and they went ahead and they built and they developed things and they succeeded. And that's what we fail to understand, and which is one of the failing of our education system also. It's like a man do something wrong, he make a jail, and when he come out, he remains a failure. He is supposed to remain a failure all the time.
That's right.
Because there is no system to bring him back into productive society, so that we could utilize his space on the earth to be productive. Instead, he just deteriorate further because there is no system to capture that kind of energy to utilize it in a productive way.
Exactly.
So actually, as we're talking that, right, I'll read here, WD-40 stands for Water Displacement 40th Formula. It was the 40th attempt at creating a water displacing formula by a rocket chemical company in 1953, which later became the WD-40 company. The product was initially developed to protect the outer skin of the Atlas missile from rust and corrosion.
You see, look at that.
The 40th attempt.
Yeah.
The 40th attempt. and WD-40 is something known worldwide now.
Correct.
They're making billions of dollars.
Correct.
Every time I do something, I look for my WD-40. Long time you see me CRC.
CRC.
But you know, there are two groups of people who have that design thinking mindset, who have that failure mindset, and they do it every year. And the first set, we see it when we go to Panias for Carnival. When they go and hear them start over, they're making mistakes and they do it over and over and they do it. That's a creative process.
Repetition.
Right? Being willing to start over. But we don't really think of it that way, and those who do fashion design. But what is different between when our education system, when we got independence in 1962, and now, is that there are many tools and frameworks available to guide you to feel fast, feel smart, feel small. I mean, as I said, the International Standard for Innovation, that was only created in September, and that's the world's first requirement standard for innovation, right? Many of the other tools have only been created in the last 10, 15 years. You know, so maybe we didn't have the tools and mindsets before, but we know what they are now.
And you touch on something which is dear to me as an educator, right? You touch on PAN, right? So let me declare my full disclosure. I am part of the PAN in Schools Coordinating Council.
Okay.
I am actually the Business Development Officer. So that is the organization together with the Ministry of Education that brought PAN to schools. Actually, it was just a group of teachers who happened to be PAN men and PAN women and saw the need to put PAN in schools. You know, the ministry came in. And as part of what I do, I was involved in telling some of the history. So I started to do the research on the patents and the IP on it. Luckily for me, well, in my little connection, Mr. Regan Asgarali, who is the head of the IP, is my schoolmate. So when I started to talk to Regan, and he said, Ronaldo, you know, this PAN story will make me cry. And as a country, it is a sad story. Because we just dropped the golden egg. We just dropped it, and everybody else got on a racehorse, and we can't catch up.
And it goes. I mean, listen, it has so many things that we could do in Trinidad and Tobago and patent that could make us this small place. Listen, if you patent something that is worth to you $1, and it is so good that you could develop a need for it in, say, China with 1.4 billion, you automatically a billionaire. You know?
Exactly.
Automatically, you know.
And that's what you're not even manufacturing anything. You just have the rights for it.
You just have the rights for it and patent it, you know.
And you
automatically a multi-billionaire, you know. Because things like, think about TikTok and Facebook and all them, those kind of simple things, simple out-of-the-box thinking that has become made people become trillionaires.
Yeah, but you see, with high stakes exams and winner take all exams and our thinking, you know, we like to celebrate. I was telling Stephen last night, we still like the Romans. Who pass, Ray, big party. Who fail, you all sit down outside. We still have that mentality. It's in everything we do.
It's a colonial kind of thing, you know. And I think that's what, I don't want to say this on the radio, but that was one of the failures. Education was a containment idea to contain people to a large extent, to corral them, to get them so it became a competition to a large extent. Because so that we get the best workman and, you know, I better than you and that kind of, so from that colonial era that passed down, we never, the sad thing is it never changed. We never sought to change it. We never really woke up and realized that this is what this was about. After slavery, when they couldn't enslave us, get us, beat us to work again, now they give us education. So we compete to work for the same thing, do the same work.
And the funny thing is, developing an idea into a new product or service requires collaboration. I mean, when you see it when you play people for during carnival time in the pan yards, for the pan even though we credit Winston Spree Simon for that, I understand. There were a lot of people who would think,
of course,
having conversations with him at the
Bertie Marshall, the whole story with pan, and everybody that touched it there on made some type of a, when you think about, well, I mean, pan history is part of my thing about when it was round the neck, when it was convex versus concave, and how it developed. It really is a story of development. But we dropped the egg.
But if we had the right management system for innovation, we had the right governance system for innovation, if we had a national innovation policy, a national innovation strategy, somebody would have said, hey, there's value in this, file a patent. And anyone else who wanted to manufacture it. Because the thing with innovation, you don't have to actually build everything. And anytime anyone made a pan in China or in Europe, we have gotten a percentage. And that over all these years. would have we probably would have been dependent on pan money and instead of energy.
Instead of oil money.
And
because I was in San Diego 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
And I was passing by a kind of bar something, and I'm on the main street on Broadway, and I couldn't believe I seen pan playing. I turned back and I walked back to see if it's really pan. It was pan. To develop here.
Yeah. And if you talk to Reagan Asperani,
Yeah.
I am sure he would say pan is not the only very sad story.
Yes.
We lost money.
Yeah.
Because we are creative people.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah, but you see, we like competition, we like beating up on one another. I could play better than you,
Exactly.
you could play better than me, and who win the competition.
Yeah.
I tell people, this is an exercise in futility
Yeah.
and spending some time because I studied at Mona. Right, and I look how the reggae artists do. I don't know about any reggae. We just had some fest. I don't know about again reggae competition because that music is built on one bring one.
Yes.
One big artist travel. He travel with 6 small artists
Yes.
till 3 get big, and they go on and go. But here we like to who you win and who comes second,
Yeah.
and we have a sort
Competition and all
of
kind of
argument
nonsense.
about who come first.
Yes.
And sometimes this kills innovation.
Of course.
This kills so the paradigm
And
shift
after,
you talking
after
about.
Carnival, you ain't want to hear that again.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
and the
that whole
world, I don't know if the world know who come first or second or third.
The world just like the music.
If they like the music, they like your music.
Or from their point of view, it's straight down music.
Yeah.
You know, and that inability to be willing to be competitive and not share knowledge and share information
Yes.
is a major contribution to this other story that I'm going to mention. Peter Minchell.
Wow.
Do you know when you go all over the world, there's these balloon men.
Yeah.
It's like a long tube, and when you blow airs from
Yeah,
the bottom, and
yeah.
it comes out.
Yeah.
You know, Peter Minchell was the creator of that.
Wow.
He
You see
I
it
think
in
when
Brazil and thing a lot.
you see it all over the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
All over the world. And he created that, but he didn't get $1 for the pattern that was filed. Why? You know our carnival character Tantan?
Yeah.
And
Patterned it out
Sagaboy.
of Tanta and theirs. And Saga Boy.
Yeah.
And he brought in this engineer from Europe to come and create that part of it. And for lack of knowledge, our people shall suffer. And that gentleman realized Peter Minchell was just on the creative part, and
Yeah.
not on the business part. And I understand that he went and very quietly filed the patent for it without Peter Minchell.
Wow.
And by the time Peter Minchell found out, I don't think he got $1. And you have seen that all over the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Every time someone manufactured that guy got a percentage of that money royalty. So that could have been another source of millions, if not billions of US income generation that could have been coming into the country if we had the proper management system and governance structure. So creative people like Peter Minchell and others could be protected. But he just didn't even know, and there was no support structures.
And it's strange we're talking about pan and carnival and that kind of thing, but there are so many other areas of development in Trinidad and Tobago, and natural derivative of what we're talking about here, that suffers as a result of not wanting to go the creative way to further develop the thing, to become unique, to be able to pattern something. I mean, I sure it have if China could pattern so much things in 1 year, hundreds of thousands, and you listen, I mean, I would have said before that when I was studying economics years ago, I remember the term comparative advantage and comparative advantage of a cost and that kind of thing, and how comparative advantage work. So if my country could produce something, we have the resources to produce something cheaper than your country, and your country have the resources and products to create something cheaper than my country, then we could have comparative advantage of trade, right?
Yeah.
We could exchange, and we don't need to, because I producing at economies of scale.
Yeah.
and I could produce this thing quite much cheaper than you, then what is the sense you fighting up to produce it, right? And that's one of the things sometimes I don't understand. If the people who are advising Donald Trump say, or if Donald Trump himself, who probably went to Trump University, who don't even understand that with all these tariffs he's trying to create and slow down the world economy and that kind of thing. If we could only understand that there are so many things we could produce, because we just have the resources to do it, in the mind, in the people and everything, and produce it at a less cheaper rate than probably even China. We could produce so much things to export to those places, and just like we buying everything from all those places outside.
But it will definitely call for a paradigm shift, because when I began teaching the steel pan manufacturing level 1 course in the school, which is a next story, we have to fight to get that into schools. Imagine that. And this is what we say, our national instrument. I don't know what that means. I don't know what is a national instrument. I don't know what is the national instrument of Australia. I don't know. But we say it's the national instrument. I don't know what significance we put into that. But when I started to learn and I see the pneumatic hammer that they use now for sinking the pan, as opposed to the normal heavy hammer from long, I said, you know, technology applied to this.
We have a patent
it's crazy.
We have a patent on the hammer?
No.
Oh, wow.
That pneumatic hammer sinks that pan in minutes. Sink the whole pan.
But somebody who's not a Trinidadian is generating significant revenue from that.
Listen,
where we are buying it from
it's
them.
crazy. And what they have not been able to do yet, which is the only part of the process, the advantage we have, they have not been able to mechanically tune the pan. So our tuners are still all over the world, because after you sink it, you groove it, you do everything, you can automate that. But to tune the G and the A and the B flat, you need a human ear. But everything else gone clear.
But you see, that is where now you talk about China, and remind me to come back to that comparative advantage, and to show how that is part of the colonial trap and part of Babylon's system, which, as Bob Marley would say, is the vampire. But I will come back to that. But someone developed that hammer, right? In the 1980s, 1970s, China wasn't known for being an innovator. China was known for being a low-cost producer, which is their so-called comparative advantage.
Now they're producing the expensive
but
and cheap.
if they had stuck with that system, they would have been poor still, right? But we could come back to that, where whoever's doing the commodities is the poorest.
Yes.
But why can't we in UE or UTT get that hammer, reverse engineer it like what China did, learn how to do it, improve it? Because as you said, there's certain things they can't figure out, they haven't figured out about it as yet.
Yes.
Reverse engineer it, improve it, and if it's a patent, that means it's available for.
So you have a hammer for G.
Yes.
You have a hammer for,
and then we have our patents on that.
But
who's having these conversations?
Yeah.
Who has these type of systems in place?
Yeah, and you see, you would have to think, and it all boils down to, as we were saying, about the education system, because you will have to shift your thinking about failure.
Yes.
And we have a big thing about failure. Failure is go to the back of the class.
You remember common entrance?
Yeah. If there are 10 cookies to share, the man who failed gets none.
Right.
That's what we think about failure.
That is what mashing up. That's what you little girl talk about.
Yes.
That is what mashing up people, children. That's what creating the division in society.
Very elitist.
Because that elitist kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Because you remember a lizard, a rat, a chicken, a snake, all of them in the same class.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
All of them in the same class.
Yeah.
But all of them teach it, you're teaching one way.
Yeah.
And so you might be only teaching for the lizard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the snake, everybody else behind.
Yeah, exactly.
You understand? Remember when we went Lockjack? I don't know if you experienced that, but I went through, we had to do about 4 things to actually because it was like a kind of recruiting thing. They recruited us. And we had to do about 4 workshops to actually get admitted before we are told
Before
to
you
pay.
actually start,
Yeah,
yes.
before we told. And one of them was we had to go Tetron to do
I remember doing
the
that.
exercise. You went and
And
do
jump in the
that.
water
But
and
yeah,
that.
but it had one where we had to do like a VAC, right? Where they find out how you learn.
Right.
Right? So that they will put you in teams. Because you can't finish the program if you're not in a group. Your
Exactly.
program was
Yes.
like that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. And
You
but
have to
you
stick with that group.
right. So the
time
whole
period.
idea behind that was that when you go out in the world of work, you have no control over who you're working with.
Yeah.
Right? They could put you to, but you had to learn to work with teams. You had to learn to work with people.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's probably one of the most advanced education system you have in Trinidad, at least in my time when I was there. I don't know if they still practice that all that kind of science in terms of education in Lockjack. But when I was there, I think that system was good.
Yeah.
But we need to have that kind of system, monetize that kind of system in schools,
Yeah.
right? From primary school, so that you have you wouldn't have a fish and an elephant in the same class, or learning being taught the same way.
And we don't have filters. So I was because I'm a teacher as well.
All right.
So I was just looking back at a story that hurt me. Couple years ago when I lost a student who became very notorious.
Okay.
His name was, he's deceased now, I can tell you. His name was Akel Christmas James. He was from the area Charlotte by the Shafford Court. His killing sparked riot on Charlotte Street, etc. He was killed by police eventually. Police involved killing, they say. But he became very notorious. But I remember Akel as a student. And a very miserable guy, very, very miserable student. But Akel came to me once. He didn't have the right shoes. He didn't have the right things for school. He was discarded, left on someone's doorstep. So that's how he got his name Christmas. They found him Christmas morning.
Okay.
But by the time he came to Russell Atby, everybody knew him, all the primary school children, because he's one of them trouble, you know, one of them soulfish children. They say Akel went to Besson Street. The principal carried him to Besson Street in primary school. And by the time she went back to school, he was back in school. The police carried him back to the school. But the story is, I went into a class one day and I saw a fan working in the classroom. And I said, who fixed this? He says, so me.
Yeah.
I said, Akel, who teach you how to do this? You could hardly read.
Yes.
He says, so well, I just had to fix them home. Because of where we live, we have one fan in the house. Good. So I could fix, I said, Akel, so you could fix fan? He said, yes, sir, who fixing the one in the classroom down? So I got a little $10 for that. And he been having commerce quietly, good, in fixing school fans.
Yes.
And that is not something we taught. He going to school trying to learn English, maths, and whatever. But because of his circumstance and survival, which is also key to innovation, you know, he had to learn to fix fans, and he could have do it pretty well. And that is all. Well, my institute does not offer that as a subject, but that is all that young boy wanted to do. Now he later went into a life of crime.
Yes.
Good. Became very notorious, being advantaged in school. He had his jail time, and that story went till he died. But I always remember him saying, sir, this is all I want to do. I could do this, sir. You know, I can't read, I can't write and do the other things that you could do as a teacher. But you see my hands, you see, but our education system forces children to follow one
and we even when it's so stratified, it's so dangerous, it's so elitist that, remember when they say you can learn and you either go to trade school, but you go and learn carpenter or go and learn this, no, but that was a kind of derogatory thing, you know, in a kind of way. They say you could only learn trade, right? That was a kind of derogatory thing, but not understanding that today, if you are a tradesman, say in the US, in certain part of you are a millionaire easy.
What? Yeah. And it's licensed.
You had to have a license.
It's per hour.
Yeah, it's per hour. So
it's like a lawyer, you know.
It's like what we just do.
I could even switch that for innovation, and that's why I always say, you know, you talk about the colonial system, but I always say the colonial system is a Babylon system, which of course we have to go further
Yes.
is a vampire.
Yes.
If you go to an innovation lab, and you know they say a company has an innovation lab, a big university have an innovation lab. What is that innovation lab? Tech work items,
Yeah.
woodworking stuff, CNC machines. Now it's kind of upgrading. It's, you see some 3D printers, you see soldering and that kind of thing. Because if you want to create a prototype of this microphone, you need someone who probably will make a little wood or styrofoam version of it first before adding electrical. And that is not any so-called prestige schools.
Yeah.
That's for the so-called dumb students.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so when we say we can't innovate, it's systems like that where we have those things on a low level. And I went to Sweden last year, and I stayed for a little bit, so I got to mix with the people. And you know what stood out to me? We went, it was a holiday, and the guy, this little girl was riding a bicycle. He said, you know that same bicycle, that was her mother's bicycle? I said, what? Yeah. So they now are keeping the bicycle and maintaining the bicycle just as a tradition, but that is so-called tech fuck kind of thing. And at the time, it shocked me because I know a Trinidadian child would be like, don't give me that old thing that you fix. I want something brand new. Yeah. But that tinkering skills and ability is crucial. Another lady, she said the spoons in her house, it was her grandfather made them himself.
Wow.
These are highly educated people, but those type of skills are highly valued. And Sweden is number 2 for innovation based on the Global Innovation Index.
Yes.
But those tinkering and so-called tech work and the don't see children subject are crucial skills when you want to develop prototypes and develop your concepts.
Correct.
So all those type of things we have
because
to
those are
change.
those are the areas actually where you would get innovation, and you would get things like developing different ways to do things, skill sets and that kind of thing. And sometimes, by the way, I mean, I could talk for me. Those people who know me will know that there's nothing in technical work and that I can do.
Yes.
I have a tool to do everything.
Yeah.
And I learn to do it. I sit down, I spend hours on YouTube watching how to do things.
And you know
how to
that
fix
that in
things.
itself is a skill, because I just wonder how you just do that sometimes.
I'm telling you.
There are people who can watch a video on something and do it.
Yeah.
And that's another way, that's another type of learner.
And learner. Correct.
Right?
Exactly.
So as a person who study training and training mechanisms and how to train people and things, you know that all those things are skills you learn over time, and if you could use those things and develop it further,
Yes.
that in itself is innovation. And we have to look at life like that.
Yes.
We have to try to get people. I mean, mine is a terrible thing to waste. Too many people wasting the time and wasting their life, but they have to be guided into doing things and learning new
Even prison's supposed to be productive, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not productive in prison, could you imagine what you're learning? Because you're always learning something. And when you look at prisons abroad, they're doing some productive part of society. They have they add some kind of value, you know, in terms of what they do. Not everyone, but there's opportunity for that.
Exactly.
But we have and to our pavilion, we haven't forgotten you, you know. In the next hour, we're going to come with a question and have you call in and chime in. But we lay in the conversation, we lay in the foundation for a conversation here with innovation, which is dear to our hearts, because it is really is a game changer, especially for our education system and children who will not get or may not get the 716 distinctions. Good. Our map that we follow tells us that they cannot do things, and they are not productive citizens. Therefore, they're not entitled to the same 6-1's person. And we never really dive into what can they do. What can they do? And innovation is something that it doesn't discriminate.
Yes.
It really doesn't discriminate. But for that to happen, for that conversation to have fertile ground, we will have to be we'll have a different paradigm in what we determine as failure.
Exactly.
And failure, and you talk about the importance of failure in terms of innovation.
You ever hear Bill Gates' story, or any one of them guys' story? Even the South African.
Yeah, Dangote.
No, well,
Which
not
one?
him, the richest man in the world.
Okay.
One of the richest man in the world,
Yeah.
Elon Musk. Have I heard a
Yeah.
story? Them fellas and them are no big, them are bright like we, you know.
Yeah.
Them go to all that 3 and 4 degree, you know.
But what they have
Yes.
is that their country has, because South Africa is well known for innovation, they have these support mechanisms and these systems in place that would take anyone who has a new idea and help them transform it. And
Exactly.
so I remember I had a lecturer told me that he said these people out there, they are not brighter than us, but they have the proper systems in place. And and I said that colonial system of looking down on the people who are the tinkerers and that kind of thing is probably part of why we never really capture the value in the pan.
Correct.
Because the people who developed the pan had no education.
A common people.
They were linemen in the pan yards,
Yeah.
common people.
Yes.
And they said, well, they have no value, so whatever they create had no value.
Yes.
And we lost billions of dollars. So as you said, we need a paradigm shift
Yeah.
in our education system.
Yeah, we have to cater for these children. And when you look at and the societies that do well in education, they have one philosophy about play. And they say we do schooling formal and exams too early because it is through play
Yeah, you learn
that
things,
children
you get to tinker and expand your mind and learn, you know. It's like, if you understand, for instance, when we do, I did a retreat a couple days ago for our organization. And one of the things we do when we do retreats is we do like icebreakers. And if you understand, when you bring people together, if you could just get them to wake up that kind of happy feeling and togetherness feeling,
Yes.
that those endorphins and that
Yes.
kind of get it flowing,
Yeah.
you would get people working together, understanding each other, and, you know, not necessarily competing against each other, but understanding the importance of working together and you know,
Yes.
that kind of thing. And that is what these countries like Sweden and all these
Capitalize on.
Scandinavian countries capitalize on in the early formative years of children, to get them thinking early,
Yes.
yes.
as opposed to just going to school and screwing up your brain with all this that maths and thing from 4 years and all that kind of thing. You
Yes.
don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Get children playing together, thinking, communicating with each other, and you know, that kind of thing.
And if you're highly stressed, how are you going to be creative? How are you going to be innovative?
Yeah, I trained from 5 years with a whole bag of
Yes.
books, heavy, weighing down, and then they learn nothing. They know nothing in them about them books after 5 years. But every year you had them through your suppliers that you're making money from.
So we're going to take a break. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be back.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility? Then look no further. The Street 919 FM is here to help you shine. With over 170,000 followers on our social media platforms, our radio station is the perfect platform to showcase your products and services. Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with the Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
Come shop at the biggest African market in the Caribbean with its African-inspired art, craft, jewelry, clothing, books, delicious food. We're at the Queen's Park Savannah, transformed into the Lidjasu Omuale Emancipation Village for the 2025 Pan-African Festival TT, commemorating emancipation, July 25th to August 1st. Also, enjoy jazz, pan, calypso, reggae, dance, drumming, bois, art exhibits, and for the children, the African Heritage Camp and workshops. The village opens 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Free admission before 3 p.m. Just $40 after. Kids under 12, free all day. Bring your family, your friends, your vibes, and let's celebrate the 187th anniversary of emancipation, our heritage and future together. The Emancipation Support Committee, shaping sustainable futures through reparatory justice.
When your corporate event needs more than just food, it needs an experience, a Michelin experience. From mouth-watering buffet spreads to beautiful packed takeaway boxes, the Michelin Experience Limited delivers more than just wheels. We deliver flavor. We deliver satisfaction. We deliver excellence straight to your boardroom. Whether it's a conference, board meeting, or a retirement function, go beyond basic. Go bold. Go Michelin Experience Limited. Call us now at 1-868-474-2250 or follow us on social media at Michelin Experience. Great food, exceptional service every time.
Hi, this is your boy Oscar B, and I'm inviting you to come on down to Cafe Blues as Cafe Blues presents a benefit concert on the 26th of July, featuring yours truly, Oscar B, and the band The Vibe. Many moves of Oscar B with Anastasia Richardson and Keston Rosales, formerly of the Group H2 Flow. And to make that evening special, come and hear Natasha Benjamin, the charismatic vocalist, passionate violinist David Frank, and hear the soulful, scintillating sounds of saxophonist Malcolm Boss. Melody, skill, pan arranger and composer. Over 20 titles to his name. Mr. Duvon Stewart, your host for the evening, Darrell Mendoza, the Saint. Showtime, 8 p.m. Admission, $200. Get your tickets at Cafe Blue, Rising Road, Port Spain, or call 738-4884 for further information. Don't forget, 26th of July, Cafe Blue, Rising Road. Many moods of Oscar B. Showtime, 8 p.m. See you there. It's gonna be a mood. Come on.
This isn't just a bottle, it's a moment. Coca-Cola is asking you to come out on August 2nd at Shops at West City Canaan, 12 to 5 p.m. and customize your Coke. Can't find your name in stores? We'll print it. More info on Instagram and Facebook at Caribbean Bottlers TT.
Looking for a preschool for your child? Well, look no further. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we believe that every child deserves a jumpstart to success in a safe and loving environment. We prepare your little ones for primary school while giving them the care and attention they deserve, whether they're 3 or 7 years old. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we cater to children with special needs and provide long hours of care from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. so you can rest easy knowing your child is in good hands. And for our tiniest learners, babies aged 3 months to 2 years, we offer nurturing daycare services to help them grow and thrive. Join the Leaping Learners family today. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Leaping Learners Preschool or visit our website at leapinglearnerstt.com to learn more. We are located in Barataria. Called 744-1523. That's 744-1523. Your child's future begins with a leap.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega mix or monster pick. Jackpot from 10,000 quick.
Jackpot starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBgames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifaba Mishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke.
And every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight,
I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Street 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight
for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the Street 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the Street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
United together, come together, stronger together, unite together, united together, come together, stronger together, unite together, united together, come together, stronger together, unite together, united together, come together, stronger together. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other. Help one another, pray for each other. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other, help one another, pray for each other. Tell my people gather together, together. When Africans gather together, together, we become more stronger, and we will have the victory. We will have the victory. When Africans gather together, together. When Africans gather together, together, we become more stronger, and we will have the victory. We will have the victory. Let us stop killing each other, each other. Respect and love one another, one another. Uplift and help out each other, and rebuild our families, rebuild our families. Let us stop killing each other, each other. Respect and love one another, one another. Uplift and help out each other, and rebuild our community, rebuild our communities. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself From all the bad mind and envy, Africans must love each other. Help one another. Pray for each other. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other. Help one another. Pray for each other.
And we're back. We're back live on Street 91.9 FM, and I will, do my due diligence. And the Yasu Umawale Emancipation Village presents their function at the Queen's Park, Savannah, Friday the 25th of July 2025 at 6 p.m. The theme, Shaping Sustainable Futures Through Repertory Justice. The largest collection of African-inspired art, craft, clothing. So let's meet up at the village, July the 25th to August the 1st at the Queen's Park, Savannah. It opens daily from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Admission free until 3 p.m. Okay? So free until 3 p.m. The entrance fee is $40 for children under 12. Right? And so therefore there's an invitation to the opening of the Yasu Umawale Emancipation Village Pan-African Festival TT commemorating emancipation. Emancipation is coming up, and it's so fitting we're talking about changing paradigms. We really need an emancipation of a different kind.
Yes.
The Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago is pleased to invite you to the grand opening of the Yasu Umawale Village as part of the 2025 Pan-African Festival commemorating emancipation. The event is scheduled for Friday the 25th of July at 6 p.m. at the Emancipation Village, Queen's Park, Savannah. So there'll be a lot of activity in the Queen's Park, Savannah come this Friday. 2025 also marks the beginning of the United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent. And the theme for this year's festival is Shaping Sustainable Future Through Repertory Justice. We thank you for your positive response and look forward to welcome you to the grand opening of the Emancipation Village on Friday the 25th of July. For further information, so take this down, you can RSVP and contact Ms. Karen Thompson at 235-5001 extension 3021 or email at info.emancipation@esc-tt.org. So that's Ms. Karen Thompson at 235-5008 extension 3021. So we cordially invite you to attend. All are welcome. Their event Saturday the 26th as well. It continues Rhythm and Voices of Africa. Sunday, Family Day, Youth Pan Extravaganza. We were just talking about Pan. So the Pan will be on display. Jazz at Sunset. Then on Monday you have Rhythm and Voices Africa, Womb Rhythm Rapso, Ancestral Night. And Tuesday you have Youth Day, Rhythms and Voices of Africa. You have a Calypso concert. Wednesday you have tribute to Karega Mandela at 7 p.m. Thursday, Transatlantic Trade and Investment Symposium, Pan-African Concert, and all the information is there. So it's emancipation time, and we are getting to celebrate an integral part of our history and our heritage. Now we have been talking to Mr. John Charles, who's for all intents and purposes for this emancipation conversation. He's innovator-in-chief, chief innovator of this village in Trinidad and Tobago, and talking about the importance of innovation. And we know we have not been engaging our pavilion, because this is the Third Empire, sir. The pavilion, in 12 man, they call in and they contribute and they ask questions and they contribute. So
and they help us analyze things.
Yes, they help us analyze things and they help us explain things that would have been happening before you and I were here. None of us have been here for that long.
Yeah.
Good. We have an immortal umpire. He not here.
The president.
Yes.
The president. He look like he are wrong.
Yeah, he are wrong. Yeah, people in tongue long time. Yeah. Good. We have that mature callers who could give some direction and etc.
Right.
So, the pavilion, we want to center this discussion around a question about our education system and innovation. Do you all think our education system fosters innovation in its present form, and do you see the need to? So you can call us on 342-0081, 466-5391. We're talking innovation today. We're talking about going forward as a country and as a nation, and shifting that paradigm about failure. That is very central to this discussion. How we categorize failure and what we do with people that have so-called failed.
Because every one of us sitting in this room here, I'm sure, could remember, I was a troublemaker in school. I mean, I no, serious. When I was very witty. When I was in secondary school and thing, I was quick. Meaning that they say something, I always have an answer, I always have a jovial side of me and that kind of thing. But every one of us knows somebody in the education system when we was going to school who we would have considered a failure and you know, that kind of thing, who really and truly might not have been a failure, and most of them, I have to say, they would have done probably better than us in school over the years. When you check them out, you see that the way they are, and they didn't do it through academics.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So we sometimes have the wrong idea what dunce and what, you know, intelligent is, and you know, that kind of thing. Some people think intelligent is having a whole lot of degrees. Yeah. You come to my office, you ever see a degree hang up in my office?
No.
That no degree hang up in my office.
Yeah.
Because, and not that I am proud of it, but that is not what I went to school for.
Yeah.
I went to school to learn things.
Exactly.
But that's not what they tell you. They tell you, you know, go to school and get passes and get government work.
Yes.
You know, get in there, line up.
That's the whole colonial mentality, whole colonial thinking. You
to
know,
the 3 and a third.
You know, get work, be part of the formal society.
Yes.
Because if you get work, you can get a loan from the bank.
Yeah.
But they're telling you that without going to and get an education, you could do more than that.
Yeah.
You can spend plenty of them rich people in Trinidad and Tobago. They didn't pass second. You didn't see them pass St. Mary's and that kind of thing. You know, some of them drop out, but the next time you see them was in the father business.
Correct.
Making millions or something like that, you know.
And they keep telling us, they keep telling the children, not everybody could be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Not everybody, some people have to be in the police force and the civil service.
Well, that is true.
Which is true. But there's no barrier in being an entrepreneur.
But they have learned to exploit the majority in terms of use the capital or use the bank capital, because some of them got it easier than us. And to monetize that, and monetize the strength and the education of the majority to become millionaires themselves.
Yeah.
But and
I would say, like, even myself,
yes.
I had to do CXC twice.
Yes.
The first time I did CXC, no CSEC, I got 3 subjects.
Yes.
And I repeated. I got another 3, and I thought I got these 6.
Yeah. Right.
And then they said, well, boy, like, you're not too much into the brain.
No, but that's the story of most people.
You should become a fire officer.
No, most people.
Most people brought somebody to convince me to
listen, so they want to sell you in fire service?
That's one of the
Oh my God.
What he just said it.
I know somebody will be totally upset with you.
What he said is one of the characteristics of very highly successful people, you know? Because as we say, success, the road to success is littered with a lot of failures, right? And the thing is, the people who fail a couple times before they really succeed, they are the ones who really value innovation and really value fighting to get to where they, and sometimes they get to things that they themselves didn't even expect that they get to that.
And you know, and they build that resilience within themselves.
Exactly, because they know it's failure.
Exactly, and they know what they could try again, they could build again.
Yeah.
You know, and look at where we are and you speaking about this topic and you
Yeah.
I was supposed to be the dance bat in school.
Yeah. Yeah, so we Pavilion, you call us at 3420081 4665 We're talking innovation, we're talking paradigm shift, we're talking education. Well, how is our research and development? Do you find us part of organizations today?
Well, in terms of organizations,
We don't use data entry.
yeah, well, that's the first thing, right? So we know, like, we low score on the global information index. Part of the major problem is gathering that information.
I hold your thought a minute, let me take this call. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
umpires.
Yes, good afternoon.
Very good topic, and I'm very interested to know. A lot of people, I think, is much more. Well, I shouldn't say much more knowledge now that have much more knowledge that you are speaking. And one of the things that you all were close enough just now, I remember Wade here, I think the Calypsonian.
Yes.
Remember, I think he didn't have common entrance or something, and today he's a lawyer.
Yes.
You know, remember his story. I don't know if you know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Wade here, right? So when you were talking about failures and all kind of thing, people put you down as done see. You know,
Correct.
I am. One of the things you all were speaking about, I am from the old age, walking with Jesus time, people, right? Before it had social media, I heard one of you all say, you could look at something on social media and learn. Remember, before it had all that, before it had the universities, before it had any, you know, lockjack and all kind of things, where did the people who became prosperous in those days,
Yes.
right, where do you think they learned? Where do you think they got the knowledge, the real knowledge from? You know, so yes, we are, I don't think our education is so good for this time, in this modern time. It's more, to me, like they went back. You know, because we have John Donaldson Institute. Is that still alive? I don't know if you all know it.
John D has now been converted to UTT. Yeah. But my
Proper,
father
okay.
was a student at John D. Yeah.
Well, right, because so many people develop skills rather than just going to school and learning, learning schoolwork. But what I wanted to tell you all is that had my father lived, he would have been 123 years this year.
Wow.
Okay.
Right? And he never went to school.
Yes.
Right? Never. More than because remember he was born in 1902. He didn't go to school.
Yes.
And he at 11, he lost his both parents, so he was an orphan. But he started building things and doing things.
Did they die on the Titanic?
And he lived. What is that?
Did they die on the Titanic? Because that would have been the year the Titanic sunk, I think.
We didn't have to Titanic then.
Yes, caller.
But no, what I'm telling, no, this is not a joking matter. Didn't go to school.
Yes.
Right? And he is in Trinidad and Tobago, Book of Recognized People. Okay? He got the first year they gave out
awards.
Those kind of medals they give out on independent. He got the first year. And he never went to school. So where do you think you all talk about people that say they have no, or the administration didn't give them this, and you don't have to have anything, just a brain.
That's a brain.
You just have to use your brain.
Yes,
you know?
correct.
So I'll just say that our education needs a lot, because from when I came from to now, I find as one of, I think it's Matheson or whoever said, everybody wants letters behind the name. Everybody wants some kind of thing behind the name, but that's all.
Yeah. You just go in
You
there
know,
to get
so
that.
we have a lot to be. But like this young guy here, this young person here, is going in the good direction, and I think we will, progress properly under these kind of people, I don't know his name. I didn't get his name.
Emerson John Charles.
Oh, Emerson. I have to look out for Emerson John Charles.
Yes.
For in the future.
Yes.
Thank you.
But good program, and I'm listening to other callers.
Okay, thank you.
What I will add very quickly to what she said there.
Yeah, go ahead.
That willingness to take the responsibility on yourself to learn is most crucial. You don't have to rely on the education system. And once you have internet...
I tell young people that every day, mine is a terrible thing. That was one thing that Malcolm X said that I always was a big takeaway. Mine is a terrible thing to waste.
Yes, yes.
Don't waste your mind but I don't even want to say as a black person, as a human being.
Yes.
You're here, you should be trying to learn new things. If you're not learning, you're dead. Like the cemetery. Exactly. Learn new things every day. Yeah, you have all kind of resources to do that. Yeah, YouTube. And you will be surprised the kind of thing you learn on YouTube.
Yeah. We have a next call. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, fellas. How y'all going?
Yeah, we're all right.
Good. All right, respect. Now, I must be honest, I'm now tuned on the radio, so I'm not too into the initial content, but I'll make a very brief contribution, not to recap. Most recently, I hear somebody was saying about your mind is a terrible thing to waste. So totally agree with that. And long story short, there's so much we could talk about. We use the word we, but I think it really starts with us and it starts with you as a person, right? Thoughts could come into your mind about doing this and that. Going the left road, going the right road. We hear about peer pressure, external influences, music, etc. And those things definitely need to be addressed. But how do you, as a citizen, hold a government accountable? How do you do that? You file your complaint, you voice your concern, they listen to you, they take your report. And then if they don't do anything about it, what's your next step? So you're limited in that context. So I just try to continue to do the best I could as a person, learn from those moments, and I have to continue developing and growing myself as a person.
So call us, stay on the line, right?
Yes, sir.
We were talking about innovation and education and the education system. You sound like you're closer to school age than all of us here. So tell me, from your experience, are you of the opinion that our education system creates that environment for innovation for young people, for students to get into innovation, or it's maths, English, social studies, and some type of science? And if you don't, what has been your experience in terms of, did you feel school gave you that push or that opportunity?
I really like that question you asked me, to be honest. I'm really happy you asked me that. I think the ministry need to take a look and see if the school environment and the way information is presented and taught to students needs to be revamped. We're in the technology age for quite some time. They talk about Gen Zs, etc. Some kids, from the time they're 7, 8, they're watching cartoons and things, they just want to be into cars. They want to be into sports. So, and I experienced some kids in my school too. My secondary school time was 2003 to 2010. So that was a little while ago, right? Some kids, maths, English, Spanish, physics, they just want to do what they want to do. So they need to address the teachers identifying students, what they gravitate to and what they not interested in, and have those counseling moments. So I definitely think they need more guidance counselors in the school, to where a teacher could say, hey, just pass the report on, notice so and so, not really picking up too much. Have the conversation with the student first, but suggest to the students and also the parents, say, hey, so and so doesn't really seem to be too interested in maths or English, whatever. I recommending that you all as the parents and the student, have a conversation with the guidance counselor, see where the student is at and where it could be best applied. Because some students, instead of just sitting on quietly and not doing nothing, they become disruptive.
Right.
And that could be the initial start of what we see has been booming, mostly with the young ladies, leading to being disruptive and fighting in class and we going downwards. But so I hope I answer your question so far.
Yeah, stay with us. Hold on.
Yeah,
Great contribution and great ideas. I must make note that the National Education Policy 2024 to 2027 mentions the importance of creativity and innovation in our school age children. The actual implementation of it, I don't know how that is coming along, but what I do know is that we now have a national innovation standard that we adopted the ISO 56001, and if we use that as a guide to implement that that education policy says, we could as along with the type of ideas you are espousing there, we could really have a change. But I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that it really is implemented.
Very happy to hear that initiative. Anything that would inspire a young person to identify what it is they're really passionate about and what they want to apply themselves to. You know, it's not a race. Yes, it's not a race. Some people need to keep in mind it's not a race. You could grow and develop at your own pace, but happy to hear that. In terms of the innovation in Trinidad, in our schools, we could start small. We could have little inter-school, I don't want to use the word competitions, but Matalon or something. So you could get a little connection with how other students performing. You might see somebody who you get a similar vibe for, but when you hear how this person read their essay in English or do this, you're like, hey, I might need to step my skills up a little bit. So, I hope for the best, and really and truly, because we as a nation could be impacted when a small area not performing well. So I really hope for the best. I don't want to stay too long in line, but I appreciate the questions you guys ask.
Thank you.
Blessings, guys. Keep up the great work.
And when we say managing innovation, we are talking about the transformation of ideas into new products, services, business models, processes, etc. We're talking about that transformation. Just had to add that.
Yes, and Mr. John Charles, how is the university from your experience? How is the university? Well, what vibe do you get with the university and innovation?
Well, there are a lot of positives. So I see UWE has a department responsible for innovation called Stacy. They are trying to link research in the university with the industry. They call a SAIL program. I actually, about a few months ago, I judged an innovation competition at CUSTAT. I judged another for students. I judged another at UTT. So there's lots of potential. So that's great. But at the same time, I'm perturbed at some of the policies that we have, because Professor Brian Copeland, when he got the patent for the GPAN, in 2014 or 15, whenever it was, he ended up having a battle with UWE and then with the government, because they wanted to own it. And after a long procedure of court and that type of thing, UWE, he owned a third, his company, UWE owned a third, and the government owned a third. But in all those resources to fight for the ownership, that could have been developing the idea and commercializing the idea. Those resources could have been used for that. So, so there are some policies in place where maybe they don't try to own it outright because they don't know which idea is going to score. Where maybe they own just like a 3 or 5% royalty. Because one idea, like a venture capitalist firm, you don't know which idea is going to win. But the one idea that does win and creates millions and billions of dollars, 2% or 3% of many ideas like that is significant revenue. So even the universities may have to think about changing some of their management systems that they have.
Yeah, so you see hope in UWE at the university level.
I see some bright spots, and with using the National Innovation Standard based on the ISO 56001 to improve what they have, things could change, but things have to change. And we have the tools to kind of make that happen.
What will drive implementation of this?
Yeah.
Well, I think, again, I have to come back on the national level. We don't have, we need to have somebody within the government structure and high up in you saying innovation is important, and we want to have a strategic initiative for that. But again, we have to focus on creating a whole bunch of entrepreneurs within UE. And if let's say, for example, the gentleman who came up with Google, they were at Stanford University, they were at university, and they end up owning it, and they were able to commercialize it themselves. If those young men were in Trinidad, the university would have said, hey, where you going with that? That is our own. And would have stayed on our shelf. So I hear that again and again at our local universities. All these great ideas are just sitting on a desk somewhere because no one has the motivation.
We still talking university. I like to think big, and I like to think critical, and I like to think big. If we in Trinidad and Tobago are to adopt or to follow the other first world nations in adopting innovation, it have to be a national, strategic, or philosophical idea. And therefore, the country, everything we do, everything, our governance structure must be guided by it. So therefore, you remember yesterday I was talking about a national development policy?
Yes.
That national development plan or policy or whatever has to be something that is cascade down in every single element of development, not just education, everything.
Yes.
Everything. So the digitization, everything must all be a part of, must be a derivative, so to speak, of the idea of innovation.
Yes.
And so that everything, we must innovate. Everything must. We talk about ideation or
ideation.
Ideation. We talk about ideation. Everything must form, must be generated out of that one single idea of innovation. So we must be thinking that everything we do, it must relate to that in some way.
Yes. But
right?
they need the proper governance structure. So that if you look at some of the most innovative countries in the world, they usually have a national innovation agency that's managing and governing all aspects of innovation in the ecosystem, usually supported by a national innovation policy. We don't have anything like that in Trinidad.
So everything,
right now.
we in Trinidad, we just not, we too small, as I say, you could buy the software in a box, right?
Yes.
In Trinidad and fix it. We just 1.4 million people. What's so hard for everything to just center around one system? And everything flow naturally. Listen, you stand up and you live in Sangugandi, you want to go Toko, you know when the bus coming, the bus moving on a certain hour, you could Google it, you could know where the bus is,
yes.
how far away it is from you. You know everything. All of that could be in one system.
But my professor at Lockjack, when I was learning innovation, he's now the president of Custax. You know, he said something last year before. He said, we just don't know how to innovate. We have to manage innovation. That's what we just don't know how to manage innovation on a strategic basis. And that is true. So it requires a different type of systems, a different type of processes. And that is in that National Innovation Standard, that Bureau standard just adopted.
Your partner, a guy I know too, Dominic. Dominic, the guy who's the minister of a good friend of mine.
Dominic Smith.
Yeah, Dominic Smith.
Minister of AI and
I am this, by the way, you're on the third umpire, and what we do, we use the analogy of the metaphor of the cricket. So right now, the baton side is the government.
Yes.
And if you are talking innovation today, I think the man who should be in the wicket is Dominic.
Yes, for sure.
Right.
Dominic, as well as the Minister of Tertiary Education, practice.
Right. So both of them should be in the wicket today. And if both of them in the wicket, maybe we should be talking given what we just talked about earlier on and where we think the country should be going
Yes.
in terms of innovation and digitization, what are their roles? What you think they should be doing to foster that whole philosophy or that philosophical idea of changing the way we live, changing the way we do things through innovation?
Yes. But I see Minister Dominic Smith said just yesterday that at some events, he said we have to rapidly increase the use of artificial intelligence in the entire country. And why that is important, because you know there are different types of innovation, different types of ideas.
I gotta be careful because artificial intelligence in some of the first world countries, they say that there was a Stanford research, I don't know if you all know what the Stanford research which showed that how much it is destroying the brain, the critical thinking side of students, because a lot of students, they did an experiment with students who used ChatGPT to write an essay, as opposed to students who use their own creative thought to do it. Right? And they realized the students who use ChatGPT, if they ask them to write over the essay, just thinking it through for themselves, and 90% of them couldn't do it. Right? So that should tell us something. It is also a dangerous thing.
So, as we on Lockjack and innovation, I want to say good evening to some of my innovative friends from Lockjack, Miss Karen Reyes and Miss Cindy Lemet. They're locked on and they're into the innovation thing as well. So they more times innovate trouble together, you know. But that too is part of the course. But we really have to be serious about this trust to innovation and AI, and I think somehow we have a silent fear of AI.
No, we just had to understand how to use it, because some people it makes no sense if you're using it to expedite things. But at least you had to understand what it is you're writing. You had to understand what it is you're saying. You had to understand what is. You can't just copy and paste the thing and when you check it, it's irrelevant, or it's out of context with what it is you really want to say, or what you're writing it for, and that kind of thing. So you have to understand how to use it. You have to understand how to train your AI too, because that too is critical. If you want to use AI to text for you or to talk for you, it has to be you.
But you know, any tool, any technology, it's like fire. Fire could burn you, it could help you.
Yeah, purify, yes.
But I want to be clear on something. When we talk about when we use ChatGPT, that's using it as a consumer, right? What will make the difference for Trinidad and Tobago and our economy is if we could use it as a producer.
Wow.
So if we could, like we said, the pan. If we said in developing the hammer, as you said, the
pneumatic hammer.
Pneumatic hammer. If someone could create it and include AI in it to improve that process, to make it faster to properly tune our pan. Where our brother of mine, he's a radiographer, right? And the latest technology is that when they create an X-ray, they have to get a radiologist to come and read it. AI is doing that. Whoever could use AI in some of our new processes and create these new products and services could end up being a millionaire.
You're the unions to mash up the country, right?
Yeah, no, but so even that now, it really could transform it. So it's where are we using AI, and if we could ensure that we understand the risk of using it, yes, but use it to create new products and services, improve the products and services and our processes. That is a game changer, and that is money in the bank through economic development.
Pavilion, call us 3420081. Prezi, I sorry I missed your call. 4665391. Tell us about our education system as far as you see it and this innovation. Do you see a match, a mismatch? Do you see a marriage is not a perfect marriage? Do you see us going down that road? Okay, Prezi is on point. Good afternoon to the President.
Yes, man, good afternoon to Mr. Hude. Romeldo is there. I hear Stephen is there. And I hear another brother named Ashley. Forget it. It's song like John, some kind of thing.
John Charles, Mr. John Charles.
Yes, yeah, John Charles. Good afternoon, brother. And good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Innovation to education. Powerful subject because this whole thing, alright, so I might be talking about the university part of it. I like to talk from the child stage of it, because basically, the education today system really is a system where Well, you know how about the stock already. It get good from people who had most of the Western world here under mental bondage. So what we learn really is industrial education. Basically, that is what we really do. Everybody on an industrial kind of something. Even I who do trade and so forth is industrial something. So we more or less taking ideas from people who don't put on ideas. Here will be well for them. Education is there. They can't even change it to be no outer space movie like if you didn't live in here and then okay, comes and nah. Education already did. I got to existence. Here what we aim to do. We are creating we as the poor class of people, not creating institutional consciousness as to create and even invent. I don't know, in my case, I would say in my young days in growing up, I still just do little pieces of inventing. Money is one of the problems because when you look at a fellow in America who have a big machine shop and he's just about 5 years, 6 years old, where you get that from? Because me, I might have to take the next 2 years before I get a machine shop. What's the thing that is Hamburg? We out here, if we have education, and plenty people have education, plenty people have intelligence. How plenty of us using it again is another problem because there's where now I will still say the creative consciousness wasn't developed to us. It was more theory work to know how to work in the industries. But even if you work in machinery in its industries or anything like that, we do have our mind to create on what we learn. I am a brother who continue like in anything I learn, I think I must want to create something out of the ordinary, which is the kind of consciousness. And when you're talking about innovation, it comes same similar thing like changing the system from our next system, diversifying, and all these words and them, we don't have that in that sort of engineering technology in the mind. Take for instance China and them place where you how they teach the children. When I watch on the internet sometime and I see how much children in a class, thousands of children in a class creating a little computer. They utilize the children to the kind of subjects that is now that creating. They start to put the little children manufacture and thing really. So by the time you look around twice, you whole China manufacturing. I see that kind of psychology where we live in our business also too by not pulling them kind of innovation. Every ministry have this, the education supposed to have such a large institution thing that is sending out people out of all kind of work in the country because they encouraging it through education. It starts from a baby. You have to start to train the child from the experiences they see and then gathering, try to push them there. And I know life changes, sometimes they move on to something else, but you're developing the mind into, and it must have something prepared for them when they might reach. And that is like all the other ministries and all kind of things, they have projects to do and all kind of things that is all them places, it works in welfare in all them places, and then you're choking people because it have work for them. You're preparing them from that from early. That is where we at the talk about political governance and thing with plenty of them politicians and them really no brain. But still half of them have to stay in representative position when I put them there. And look for people who had the brain to put in ministry, hire them and all kind of thing. All that they talk, talking. Now be talking here, but let me don't talk no more. I might go about 10 minutes or start coming. Have a nice evening, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Prezi. And to my friends online, Karen and Cindy, please don't ask me for Mr. Matteson and Mr. John Charles' number. These gentlemen are taken. All right?
No, you can get my number.
Get my number too.
All right. Stop. The topic is innovation today and education. Okay, Karen and Cindy. And go ahead, Mr. John Charles.
And when that gentleman was talking, made my paws raise. He's right. In China, they are preparing their young people 5, 6, 7. They already knowing how to tinker, how to make things, the so-called tech fuck subject that's for the Duncy Bat, and they have their brightest mind developing those skill sets.
You know China planning to take over the world 40 years now.
Yeah.
They have you remember the years of humiliation after the British and that kind of thing and the Americans. China always knew that their human resource is the most greatest capital.
Yes.
Right? So they learn how to monetize their people. So before, when you were calling, you're making Nike and sweatshops and that kind of thing. China making everything. China not about cheaper. Again, you see the Birkin bag and thing that they're selling in America for $46,000.
Yeah.
That is made in China. You know what it's costing China to make that? $1,500 US, $1,400 US. They're selling that same bag. They're putting the label on it, and they're selling that same bag in the US for $46,000.
Yeah.
Become.
And you know, you talk about China, because you also have to talk about Singapore, because every time we like to compare China to be like Singapore, and that's because similar size, because they got their independence the same time as us, 1962 thereabouts. But they like to talk about all authoritativities, but that's not what made them rich. It was innovation made them rich.
We talked about that yesterday.
So when 1962 we had our oil, we said, we are going to suffer from Dutch disease and only have our economy 50, 60 years later dependent just being oil-based, energy-based.
Dutch disease.
Singapore developed their people. They said, oh, what's going on here? Oh, internet is this new thing developing. Let's send some people to get PhDs in that and come back and teach the rest of our society. What's the next new thing? And that is what they did. So now their GDP is more than Caribbean economy combined.
But you say something there. You see, Patrick Manning was probably one of the greatest thinker in terms of, to a large extent, in terms of where he wanted to take the people with that 2020 vision kind of thing. And I'm saying this without fear of contradiction, because that same gate and that same education system, I think that was where he was going. That same thing you're talking about, China, was where he was going, but he didn't use it. They didn't know how to manage it properly. PNM never managed that properly.
Yeah.
Because all them people you created, all that system you was trying to create, a lot of people take your gate and they're going away, they never come back. You have no control over it.
Yeah.
So they're supplying good resources to other, capital resources to other countries. The thing is, what you should have done, you should have streamlined gate to the areas you want to develop.
That it had no strategic direction.
So it had no strategic direction.
Yes.
So while it was a good idea on paper, it was just a waste of money.
It was
right? Every time they can Harry going and study, some of them wasting it, they're finishing, some of them finishing it, they're going away, they ain't coming back, all that kind of thing, and it have no accountability to the program. And that to me was so while that could have created some, if you had structured that to get that same innovation, to get that same critical thinking, and use all what we talk about here in a program like that, we could have a better Trinidad and Tobago today. And we could have probably be even monetizing education.
Yeah. They know in innovation there's a term that they love. They call it innovation theater, which is you're having all of these activities to say you have these activities, but you're having very little impact. And I tell you, I bet you that in China and America, in 2005, 2006, when Gates started, they already knew, hey, this AI is something's coming. Robotics and automation, they already knew that was coming. And they said, okay, guys, we're going to have a segment of our population taking care of the making money now and moving forward.
Must come and they've created it.
Exactly. No, but
they're learning to monetize what they get from China. What they get
but once you strategically manage innovation, one of the things you're doing is future-proofing yourself, future-proofing your economy. And there are things that you could do to find what are the trends, right? But we didn't develop that. We just had free education for everyone and not knowing what these, like what Singapore did in the 1960s. They realized, oh wait, now this internet computer thing, it's just that. But they realized this had a growth potential. But the thing about it is, we could still do that right now in 2025. The fourth industrial revolution, which is fundamental, fast, major advances in science and technology that change how we live, work, and play. It is just beginning. So we could have somebody say, hey, these are the technologies of the future. This is the direction we need to go in. And yes, we're talking AI, but artificial intelligence is only one of 11 frontier technologies that we know that are going to have high growth rates and change the world. So it is not too late.
So Pavilion, call us on 342-0081 4665391, innovation education we're talking about today, and we're moving the discussion forward in the context of Trinidad and Tobago and where we want to take the country, and where we see what may be the skills of this new economy that we keep talking about, diversify and this new economy. But what are the skills required for this new economy, and are we having those skills in school, or are we still producing children to work at Starbucks, basically, you know, to apply for a job? And we understand everybody can't be innovators, but everybody can innovate, you know. That's the premise we're moving on, and especially for parents who worried about children who may not, according to the system, be top tier, you know. The system say you pass for your first choice, so you bright. She passed for her third choice or no choice, she ain't so bright. And therefore her life chances are different. That's what we say. But those things are anti-innovation in terms of philosophically and ideologically. Those things don't really help. So we are having this discussion. We're going for a drinks break soon and coming back in our final hour. But we really want to hear from you, our callers, when we come back. In terms of innovation and education, Mr. John Charles is here. He's the expert, and he's really led us down a nice path of humble beginnings and great ideas and things that level the playing field, you know. This is not something that is bound by 6 1s or 7 1s or 4 A's in your profile.
And you know, I want to clarify, when we speak about managing innovation, we're talking about the transformation of ideas into new products and services that they could successfully export as well. And you know, it's the danger that I'm seeing, not just we saying, oh, you may not be the brightest bulb in the shed, but artificial intelligence and AI are removing the need for a lot of jobs, low wage, low skill jobs that many people have. I mean, if I go in the grocery right now in my area, about 8 cashiers, X amount of packers. When you travel, there's just one person helping you cash for yourself. Most of the factories that they have now are removing the people and they're having robots. So where are all these people who thought they could have got a side hustle on the July-August holidays and get a job? We're going to have more socioeconomic problems, more unemployment, more crime, more everything if we don't have a rapid change in our education system.
And I guess that's what the politicians running from. I mean, they probably thinking, hey, if we innovate, we have less people working in the store, we have less people working in the supermarket, we have less people, we have less jobs, then think. But you had to think, if you innovate, you have more people doing innovative things to earn a living, and you have a more productive and evolving society. I don't know. Maybe politicians think a little differently, but
so
that's my thought.
You will join us after the drinks break. We're going to have a little drinks break, and we'll be back on the third umpire.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility? Then look no further. The Street 919 FM is here to help you shine. With over 170,000 followers on our social media platforms, our radio station is the perfect platform to showcase your products and services. Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with the Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
Are you tired of scratching the surface? Do you want to understand the real forces shaping Trinidad and Tobago? From the delicate dance of our energy sector on the global stage, to the geopolitical shadows behind the crime affecting our streets, we dig deeper. The third umpire goes beyond the headlines. we connect the dots between local challenges and the international currents that truly impact your life, your wallet, your security. Join Stephen Matheson, Selvin Mitchell, and Ronaldo Rollux, 3 employment law and human resource management consulting professionals, as they unpack the complexities, analyze the power plays, and reveal the often hidden realities. Understand the game. Understand your role in it. The Third Umpire, critically analyzing Trinidad and Tobago's economic and political realities on how they affect your daily lives. Tune in Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. on The Street 919 FM. Don't just listen to the news. Understand it.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega mix or monster pick. Jackpot from 10,000 quid.
Jackpot starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBgames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Whoever said Messi was a bad thing totally missed the point. Take that hit song everyone loves now. It probably started like this. Baby, calm down. That's why KFC is celebrating the messy moments with our Messy Cruncher and Messy Zinger sandwiches for only $34.95. Imagine a crunchy, golden brown, flavorful chicken sandwich sauced to perfection with our signature sweet, spicy, tangy sauces. Oh boy. So crunch into the deliciously messy moments today. Check socials for details. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Get hot this summer. Oh no, we mean H-U-T, as in hot days mean hot deals with Pizza Hut. Get 1 large pizza plus single breadsticks for only $135, or go bigger with 2 large pizzas, family breadsticks, and cinnamon rolls for just $290. All your favorite pizzas with all the toppings you love all summer long. So head to the Hut and get your hot deals while this offer is super hot. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
Light up your weekends at Vibes Nightclub, Tobago's hottest spot. 3 epic nights of music and energy await every Thursday. Karaoke Thursdays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Grab the mic, unleash your inner star, and sing all night. Beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and giveaways for the best singers. Every Friday, Limers Fridays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Vibes with your crew and enjoy beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and 2 White Oak for $25. Every Saturday, Raw Saturdays. Everything goes, nothing but good vibes, free entry, and an all-star DJ cast to bring the vibes. Vibes Nightclub is where Tobago shines. Join us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for music, fun, and unforgettable nights. Don't miss out. Your weekend starts at Vibes.
If you love summer and you love pizza, then you'll love Pizza Hut's all-you-can-eat summer. Head to the Hut for our big buffet every day. Then simply upload your receipt to our social media pages for a chance to win a PlayStation 5, a 5-island cabana experience for you and 9 friends, and so much more. Check our socials for details. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Planning your Tobago getaway?
Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago, the easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
It's in the feeling in our we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come let your rhythm flow.
So line up, link up, creep up, rock and come in. It's all about the fastest growing reggae show in the land without a doubt. Reggae Rock Sundays on the Shit 919 FM with yours truly, MC Duke and Selector Kochi on the ones and twos. So make it a date and don't be late. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. right here on the Shit 919 FM. Got 'em our way, King Selassie.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
And we're back. Pizza Hut's bringing the heat this summer. Get a medium pizza plus free breadsticks for just $99. Only when you order online or on the Pizza Hut app. Pepperoni, cheese or veggie. All the classics, all for less. Just for $10 more, upgrade to your favorite specialty flavors or complete your meal with a 2-liter Pepsi. It's a limited one-time deal, so don't sleep on it. Order now on the app, Pizza Hut. Now that's delivering. So we were having this discussion about AI and innovation, and we stopped off when we were talking about labor and how AI innovation for some people, or we do have a caller. We will take this call. Okay. Caller, good afternoon.
Hi, good guys. Hi guys. Hi. So calling in to contribute on the most recent topic about AI, and I think someone would have made a contribution about let's just say, you come out of the school system and for whatever reason you end up in a employment situation that is under your studies. I'll touch on the AI first. I had a conversation with an AI program. There's a company that they use, a small scale company, I purchase a product, clothing, and they use AI as the interface for WhatsApp. So they have their products online, the pictures, etc. You click contact, and immediately it's AI. And let me tell you, gentlemen, that was one of the best conversations I had in a very long time. The customer service of that AI program was refreshing. I wish that was a real person. Right? I've asked my questions. So, good. Yeah, the English from the person was clear, standard English, responded, pleasant, with the clear information, asked the right questions, and it worked out. So definitely AI is something that could be introduced in the future. I think you all would have even mentioned that in China somewhere there's a AI program that did its first operation and someone was in another country. Actually, I think I would have heard that from...
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would have heard it from another platform too, but your guys definitely wouldn't know about that. So the introduction of technology to make life easier, the functions we do, absolutely. Once the cost of introducing that technology is not to the detriment of humans at all. That's what we always need to keep in mind in our desire for more efficiency, etc. And I mean, as a close, I am someone who would have did my studies and got certain qualifications and, you know, ended up in more recent years working in situations that wasn't in line with the studies I did. And the current situation I am in very happy, you know. So, but I will leave it there. Make space for you. Great conversation as usual.
Yeah, thanks, caller. Thanks. And
yeah, guys.
The Pavilion, you all are free to call us on 342-0081 466-5391. And we're talking innovation, Trinidad and Tobago. We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes. Very interesting topic. Now, the education system stemming from the 60s and up to today is, it had its ups and downs, right? But one of the things that I think affected secondary education was the common entrance. And the common entrance left siblings against siblings, because you will have, for example, in 1968, 69, a child will have passed common entrance, and then the next year a brother or sister didn't pass, and I think that developed a kind of envy and among siblings, right? That is one. Another thing is that growing up from the time a child reached 3-5 years in the 60s, your parents will be telling you, you know, you cannot play too much, right? They're observing you, and if they find it very playful, like you want to pitch marble, you want to do this, you want to play cricket with a coconut bat or whatever, they will tell you, boy, go and take your book. Everything was, boy, go and take your book. Correct. So a lot of children now came up and only on academics, and now they have reached the age of the latter days then, right? And they find themselves in a problem because all they know is book, and there are no opportunities for them at the age of 60 plus. And but the children who went to learn trade, whether they went to learn a backyard mechanic or whatever it is, or they went to the technical school, who were fortunate to go John D and San Antonio Technical, these people, you know, they have a living up to until they do them part. So there's a gap in this situation. Another thing, there was the extramural from UWE, and that extramural was very helpful. There were centers all over Trinidad. So in the afternoon at around 4 o'clock, we could have gone and do a short course. For example, I went in Grandie when a man named Bongos Williams, he was the principal. I went to a short course and a third course, and I think Patricia Tony, who is Joseph Tony's sister, she taught me one of the, I think it was communication or whatever it is. But, you know, and then I did a supervisory management course there. And after that, a man named Mr. Law, who was a tutor there, he said, hey, you better go UWE and sign up, you know. He told me that even after class, and so I ended up in UWE. Now, in the early days in UWE, I paid my own, I borrowed money and paid for my own tuition and fee in UWE. Just like me, boy. And then in 19, when Mr. Pandey came in 95, he came with the dollar for dollar. And then when Mr. Manon won the election, thereafter, the next election, general election, Manon said, all right, we pay the full hog, well, everywhere 100%, and that's how the gate concept came about, right? And then I think the gate concept scaled down, but I think the government now trying to resuscitate it, and so more people could expose to what they call it. But the thing is, my father couldn't read and write. My mom only went to school until standard primary school, and I ended up in a university. So there was some good in the education system, yes, right, along the way. Right?
But
so I am grateful.
But Kola, yeah? I know what we're talking about. We're talking about, and I get what you say. By the way, I know Bongos. Bongos was the vice principal of Northeastern College. Tall fella. When you see Bongos coming in North, Northeast College, you're frightened. If you're outside, you get inside. 5 holes and only find your hole. Bongos was that kind of fella. God rest his soul. I heard he died some years ago. But what we're talking about is education and redefining the human capital in Trinidad and Tobago by monetizing innovation among the population in the education system. And what we didn't have, what we haven't had over the years, is the use or the thought, the philosophy in our education system of innovation. So we have largely been a society that use education as a tool to compete, for students to compete against each other. You have pass and fail and not understanding how different people learn and that kind of thing, and not using innovation. I say critical thinking to a large extent, because critical thinking have a lot to do with it. A lot of people went to school. You don't have to critically think to go through the education system in Trinidad and Tobago. You just have to be able to read a book, regurgitate, pass an exam, and get a certificate. And that to me is what killing the whole thing. Oh, it has killed the whole thing, as a matter of fact. It is what the industry require, the brightest, the person with the best certificates and that kind of thing. It is what it required. Then now we suddenly realizing, hey, what we need is people who could think.
Yeah.
And we need people who could innovate and who could carry the thing to the next level. And none of the parties before, none of the education system has ever worked for Trinidad and Tobago in the way it should work, or it should have worked. All the money is spent behind it. It didn't work. Anyway, it should have worked, because we should be further, faster, long time.
But you see, a proper gap analysis wasn't done. For example, in China, the Politburo, the Chinese Politburo, they identified children from 5 and 7 years and screen them based on the talents they observe. And that is why you see some end up engineers, some end up doctors, but unfortunately we don't have that kind of system here.
Well, it had to be guided, right? and it had to be guided, and it had to be pointed. It had to be pointed to through the politicians. They are the one who use who taking the resources and using it up and guiding us as how to use it and that kind of thing. So they are the ones who managing the whole thing. And if they are the managers of our resources, they are the ones who you are to blame for everything.
And we have the potential. Last year, presentation college showed on us. They took the students and they carried them to international innovation competition, and they came first. And when I was so intrigued, I called the school. I wanted to find out who was it, and the teacher who was leading it was like a science, there was like a English teacher or something like that. So these students, the caller spoke about having that time to play, and I would say having that time to think, right? So this teacher, who's not even a robotics or science teacher, took it upon herself to give these young people time to so-called play and to think. And with the previous caller spoke about, all these different technologies. But if you say, listen, there's this technology where you could do X, Y, and Z, we see abroad, let me see if you can make your own version of it. And if that could just happen in that one school, could you imagine, with the natural creativity that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, if as you said, the politicians and the government officials gave the proper resources and support to create these new products and services using this new technology, what could we could really be our own Singapore in the Caribbean.
We could. I mean, the man who makes Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, who made Singapore what it is today, he went to school with the father of our nation, the same university.
Yeah, but one man spoke about innovation, and one didn't really.
And when they asked him, well, why are you doing what you're doing in Singapore? Why don't you just be a democratic nation doing all that we do? He said, where are you going? Right? I had to do what I doing.
Yes.
Yeah. You understand? So what I'm saying to you is that Eric Williams could have come and he could have done the same thing. I mean, two people with two different visions. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about the doctor politics, because you have all kind of people who might be thinking, well, you're ungrateful because Eric Williams was the father of the nation, and but I think he was one of the cause of the Dutch disease that we suffered over the years with all this oil and gas and resources and fall prey to that over the years.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, because if I could say something before I end. I remember a time, in the early 70s, everybody wanted to be an economist in Trinidad, in UWI. So we had an oversupply of economics, and eventually people started to turn to the law and medicine. But what I want to find out also, the precedent program, that is not with your program, and the precedent program, it just vanished, and I'm not hearing anything about it. I don't know if the program has collapsed, or if it is, or whatever it is. So if the management there could make make some comment and say the program has collapsed or whatever it is, or let us know as listeners, because it's a very interesting program, and they always spoke highly of your program. So that's all I want to find out. Because I realize that the management there, we just miss presenters, and then we end up in limbo,
But we will
take note.
We will take note of that, and we'll find out for you.
Thanks, caller.
But what I'm hoping for is that someone in the government says, listen, we need at least 20 to 30 people with PhDs in artificial intelligence, so we could set up our own research and development hubs here. The next 20 to 30 in robotics, and next 20 to 30 in each of the 11 frontier technologies.
And that way investigating. That's where you want to go.
Let me take this call. Caller, good afternoon.
Hey, I got it to my brothers.
Good afternoon.
Always brilliant show, there's a phone, always. No, I want to say, when Mr. Manning, our greatest visionary, leader, was in power, he made a trip to China, and he watched, he observed, and came back and bring it up in Parliament. He's going to invest on human resources, and everybody take against it. You see, human resources, you'll find the purpose of the youth, what they want to do. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not only education. The man bring it up in Parliament that everybody take against it, else also our country will be advanced.
Yes.
You understand? Because the youth and them will advance the country. I mean, in school for education, but with my hands, I could perform. That is where you find the purpose of the youth, and then when you invest in human resources, that is what China do. And he observed that and came back with the idea, and we take against it. That's why yesterday. You understand? Because everybody depends on education. But at the end of the day, that man, they never say thanks. He was going to say thanks to Trinidad for our natural resources. You understand? And no other leader never said thanks. That's why we in position yesterday. We never said thanks. We never deal with the youth. We never deal with the people and them the right way. These leaders and them. So my friend, you all have a good day.
Thank you. Next call. Good afternoon, caller. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, you're
I
live.
was listening to the guy. Good afternoon. Are you hearing me?
Yes, you're live. We're hearing you. Good afternoon.
Okay. I don't know which one of you all was saying that when Eric Williams could have come back, when you were talking about the guy, I think in Singapore, whatever, that he was with, right? I don't know which one of you all said it, right? Madison. You heard what the man said? The man said, I'm going back there where he lived. Eric Williams was coming back and to a plantation country which still is under massa. And that's why we can't develop, even if he came back with just like the man, to do what he couldn't have done what that man did, because that man mentality, his whole, where he comes from is a different people than us.
No, but he was faced with he was faced to a large extent with the same dilemma that Eric Williams was faced. He had the dichotomy of the different races that he had to deal with, just like Trinidad.
Yeah, we know that, but they had, yes, but their mentality.
But
I am telling you,
he operated more in a what you call an autocratic kind of society. So
but whatever society he went back to, could have stomached him.
But
And it could have drive whatever need to be driven.
Based on agriculture.
I am telling you, when it comes to Trinidad and Trinidadians, we have, and Eric Williams knew it, a carnival, up to today, a carnival mentality. The only thing that activates Trinidadians to an extent of innovation, what that man's speaking about. What is that?
Are we monetizing
that? Carnival?
Because we can monetize that too, you know.
Oh gosh, coulda, yes, that is a coulda, woulda, shoulda. Listen, I am telling you, whatever you want to do, it starts with your mind. You just said a mind is a whatever to waste. You can't. But we waste on our mind on carnival. We have a carnival mentality and living on the plantation. Take what I'm telling you all, okay?
Okay, that's
because when you
But I hear what you're saying, but when it comes to innovation, what matters more than just the mentality is having the right systems, structures, and processes in place. And we don't really have that fully developed for innovation in our country. And that is a big difference.
Okay, let's hear from the President. President, good afternoon.
Yeah. I guess you there again?
Yes.
All right, okay. Well, I want to put it straight to the real part of the conversation all you're talking because it's a serious on AI.
Prezi, you could raise your volume in your phone or come closer to your phone. We hardly hear you.
You hear me better than now? Huh?
Yes, we hear you better, a little better. Go ahead.
All right, okay. All right, okay.
Right, beautiful.
Oh, yeah, now put back on the loudspeaker, so.
Right.
On the, yeah. All right, so we're talking about the AI. And in talking about the AI, it comes to mind that, well, I mean, everybody knows, I call it as everybody knows 60 change, right?
Right.
So you don't realize that in the young generation time of observing, well, lately we had talked to the Google speaker, and now they give you the AI well proper now. So in going into the AI, one thing I recognize, it teaches a lot. How it teaches a lot because, and then, like what I said earlier on, plenty of the experience, the inventions, and 20 inventions later privileged to be able to invent and all of that. So it's according to how the person uses their mind and according to the environment experiences and things what they get, to be able to know too. And most important thing, what I noticed in Trinidad and Tobago, in real, after coming out of slavery and just give us the industrial education, is still, we're not creative, not thinkers to create. Like after all, you say after you don't get the certificate, then what? The only then what does be happening is to get a job. But a job is a different thing to if you have a hobby that you could create or invent on. Look, it have a provoke, say, necessity is the mother of all invention. And it all becomes because what happens with a social life and a life that of luxury is because people invent to have that. We are like consumer, only consuming what people invent. We ain't necessarily inventing for other people to consume. And there's where the problem is. So it's not that they don't have a lot of education, because anyhow you take it, the system of what we grew up under, there is a lot of experience that you could use the same experience and create something off of an experience, even so that don't create not a copycat, but you could create something out of the birds. They build plane, out of the grasshopper, they build helicopter, out of fish, they observe, they build submarine, they build boat. We not created off of the nature of things that we could create for our sustenance and our, what we just call it, luxury. We have to be luxury, but basically, then push us to create for needs.
Yes.
And if we ain't creating for needs, then we're being left by just being consumers. So the education is there. You need to teach more, but really is to teach creative thinking. Because that is what we, especially the African people, lack. Because they didn't come out to give us that in the first place. They come out to give us knowledge to work for them.
Correct.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
So, you know What I mean, he does talk a lot, but he says he just come back down to the right thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, what we had to understand is that a large extent what the education system was designed to do. But what the society requires now to a large extent is people thinking. If you want to compete, we had to think outside the box and we had to be innovative.
That's right.
Otherwise, we will always be consumers. We will always be buying from China. We will always be buying from America. 80+% of our whatever we buy comes from the US, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to do that. There are a lot of things we could create, as I say. Sometimes, and we don't have to own the supply chain either. We could take things from somewhere else. You go China, spend some time in China, bring down the kind of machines to build, to do a thing, and think it through. As a matter of fact, you could think about any machine, any system, anything you want to build, and China will make a machine to do it for you, right? Bring it and innovate and change the reality.
Yes.
Not just the economic reality of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
It's easy to do that, but you had to get help from the government. You had to get our next umpire, Selvan Mitchell.
Yeah.
He talk about it all the time. He talk about the African Exim Bank. They want to give us money to do them thing.
We can't give them permission to come to Trinidad
right?
yet.
Right? They want to give us money to do them kind of thing. Let us do that. That will change our economic reality. I could guarantee you that.
Yeah. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to all members here. Is there a development plan for Trinidad and Tobago?
No. No. And that's what we're talking about. But a development plan in Trinidad and Tobago must mean that this plan is legislated.
Yeah.
Right? It's an act of parliament. So that any government come in office, any group come in office, had to follow it. Right? And that's what Lee Kuan Yew did.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one government since then, but that's what he did. That's what made Singapore one of the greatest countries in terms of development. If you do an MBA and you didn't study Singapore, then you didn't study nothing.
And to be more specific, we need a national innovation policy, not just a development plan. A national innovation policy that has science and technology as a bedrock behind it.
You see, that is why I listened to the question as regards the education plan. It must relate to your development plan. It must be, it must coincide or must be relevant or related to your development plan. It happened somewhere in the 80s or the 70s and whatnot when they built those junior secondary school and put in all the trades and all. There was a plan. There was a development plan. In fact, planning in those days were in existence. You had 25-year development plans, short-term, medium-term plan, and whatnot, because we were under the World Bank. Because you had to go to when you wanted money, when you required money, loans and whatnot, you had to go to the World Bank, and you had to have a plan. And somewhere in the 70s, after the 70s, Eric Williams said that we have enough money, we don't need planning again, they abandoned planning. But the point I'm making here is that if you want to talk about transformation in terms of education must fit your development plan. What you about, what is your objective? And that's why recently I heard from the university where they were, some courses they were taking off some programs they were eliminating or removing, and they were including other, making necessary changes. But that was being made, I think, in isolation, because I don't think we understand where this country is going in terms of its economic and human development. I don't know, right? So it's just ad hoc kind of people just move here and put this here and put that here, unless we have a national development plan that people know and everybody on board. Then we talk about education, so we train people in order to take jobs and whatnot, what we want to achieve. But you can't talk about education change in isolation of a development plan. It must be consistent with that, and we need that.
Unfortunately, because of the model of governance and the model of economics and the model of the system that we've been operating with for years. We know, and the fact that we suffered this triple bout of Dutch disease with the oil industry. I mean, with our dependence on oil and gas over the years are depleting resource. We now playing a kind of hopscotch kind of politics and a kind of survival politics, a kind of survival economics to live, because we running on fumes. So it's just about survival. 90% of the money we spending is recurrent expenditure. It goes into recurrent to pay bills, to pay people, to manage the systems and that kind of thing.
And what is happening also is that we're not attracting foreign direct investment.
Well, if I'm an investor, I ain't so sure I might want to give you money just so I've seen what you do with it before.
Yes.
Yes, but I agree with that. But I'm saying, I'm putting that on the table that we require, we're not getting at this point in time, for whatever reason, right? Because we can talk about foreign direct. There are certain things that we talk about political stability, the whole question of crime, the whole question of education and the level of technological advances in your country. All these things they would consider before they come here. But I'm saying that we need these things. We are not in sync with what is required for development, and to encourage, as you rightly said, the change in the education system to meet any sort of, well, that development. So that is where we are, and I agree with you. The economy is in a mess, and something has to be done in order to bring it to where we want to go. But we need a plan. We need a development plan. Thank you.
And I'm glad you mentioned we need technology. I mean, I will always mention Alwyn from Point Fort as a great
Alwyn,
example.
no gosh, but
Right?
we pay,
right?
yeah. I mean, he's one of the greatest.
And we don't need innovation. We need disruptive innovation. Because
Exactly.
disruptive innovation using new to the world technology, going to new markets, is how we will create these new growth engines. And if from 2017 to now, in 8 years, he could buy a company in America, that means he created millions and millions of dollars in value in just a few years. So if you could get a development plan, a national innovation policy, focus on disruptive innovation, in the next 5 to 10 years, we may be able to reverse. If we could create an army of entrepreneurs, an army of inventors,
we may be able to reverse, but we would have to make some very, very, very difficult decisions very early.
Yes.
Also.
But who's having these conversations?
And those you see, is the same philosophy, the same thing I talk about belly the cat. Who will belly cat? Everybody thinking about, if I do this, the backlash, right? I could get for doing it, right? Then I might be out of office when somebody is benefiting, right? I might get eat up for it, right? It's like the rat and the cats. The rats, these rats having a discussion. Hey, this cat, every time this cat wake up, this cat eating me. How we could get rid of that? And one thought about it. He say, here what happens? See, when that cat go and sleep, one of we had to go and put a bell on it. And say, hey, everybody, hey, that's a good idea. And then the question was asked, so who wouldn't bell the cat? Because if you go close to that cat, you can get eat. And that's the same thing every single government probably thinking, if we try to do this, right, it will take a huge amount of resources, it will take some very difficult decision to do it, and we might get mashed up in the process.
You know, there's one quote, in my little studies of the Cuban Revolution, there's a quote that they talk about, one step forward, 2 steps backward, always applauding. 1 step forward, 2 steps backward, always applauding. And in a way that describes our process, because it's quite zigzag, it's quite ad hoc. When industrialized and serious countries plan for 10 and 15 and 20 years.
And 20 years, 100 years.
You really could only plan here for 5 years to win the next election.
After the year of humiliation, China was, during the years of humiliation, China was nothing. You know, if you look at what China was just 20 years ago, see, you will, and you if you haven't been to China 20 years ago, You go back there now, you will think in the movies, you know.
Yeah. And so that's why when you talked about legislated plans and change, because it cannot be left up to the whims and fancies of whoever win the election. That will be bacchanal.
That 5-year thing
because we have a habit here to undo what was done when is we time now. Quote
exactly,
unquote.
all that.
Yeah.
So some good ideas of, and we on the third umpire, some good ideas of the bowling team may vanish.
Now might be the best time. You have 3 women running the country. You have the president, the prime minister, and the opposition leader. Now might be the best time to make those decisions. Use your emotion, use your compassion for trying to go all of them come together. And we could fix that.
And this is why we were talking about the bowling side and our present issue, even now with the CPEP, right? We want to turn it into something productive. It may not have been all too perfect in its orientation. Now is the time to have the hard discussions. That ain't going to be no easy way. They're going to be fallout. They're going to be loss. And some people will not pivot. And as let's liken it to your discussion that you were talking about AI technology and labor. AI technology, as it comes into play, I do not see it as in losing labor. I see it as diffusing labor, because the skills you need in AI and an AI society will change. Once the computer starts to cache, we might not need a cacher, but we might need more programmers.
Exactly. Listen, let me tell you something. That's but labor wouldn't see it like that for whatever reason.
Well, when you have union leaders
who thinking in the 60s, who in the 60s,
and all union members and the membership you hear in our voice, you all have to take responsibility for that. The backwardness and
them ancient people, you know.
That sometimes that we classify as labor. Listen to me, they're very innovative labor, you know. Very, very forward thinking, and you would need labor. You would need labor. Let me answer this call. Caller, good day.
Hey, good day, Empires. And good evening to all the guys over there. Mr. Ronaldo, you take the words out of my mouth there, man. You take, and you know we could invest again in Trinidad. Simple. India is the #1 capital in troubleshooting. If you call Amazon for your telephone, anything, you hear an Indian person. They teach them English, they teach them multi-language. And it's something that you don't need a big manufacturing warehouse. You do it from home.
Correct.
And this is where you could take AI, teach children. Let me tell you, you could take AI and build a simple code if your phone Bluetooth out of order and apply it on your phone and AI telling you everything how to do it. You know?
That's the level of the technology. We don't understand it.
And caller, I like what you mentioned, caller, because the visit of the Indian Prime Minister was made such a political and racial issue. And look, you just break it down in terms of the utility of the Indian market as a country, India as a country, and how we can learn and we could benefit. But unfortunately, the discussion here was quite banal in my point of view, and we were into who and them and whatever. And those things are barriers to innovations. We have to be open.
Exactly. And India is a country, as the caller said, they have so many high-tech people. We are supposed to be saying, listen, we're going to send 50 people to get PhDs in AI or whatever technology and bring them back to Trinidad. That is the conversation I was hoping to hear, not the simmy-dimmy as of that occurred.
We really got into some very, very low-level kind of discussions, even in the news.
Again, I was kind of, because I was looking at the reporting of that visit in India. I looked at it because I look at we on television all the time. And they didn't see it like that, right?
Yes, they were happy.
They spoke about the Indian diaspora in Trinidad and that kind of thing, and what the African and Indians went through in this part of the Caribbean, the West Indies under the British and that
Yes,
kind of thing. Because
I
they
saw
suffered
some
the
of the-
same. Yeah, I looked at it. So, but the thing is, there are some people in Trinidad and Tobago, they're so tied up, wrapped up into the politics that they can't see past it.
Yes.
So they don't see the good in some things. They always see we and them.
Yes.
Right? They
Them
always
and
see
us.
them and us. So then when the elections now, and them going and do this and them go, hey, listen, see how you yourself, you individually could benefit from this.
Yeah.
Right? And do what you're supposed to do to benefit from it.
My sister is now reminding me that India is one of the leading countries in library and information studies.
Exactly.
And obviously that has correlation to innovation.
Of course.
Because you would have had to have the history and the information.
If the fancy word is knowledge management, being able to
Beautiful.
strategically manage
Thank you.
knowledge
Thank
is
you.
key for innovation as well.
Yes.
That's a skill. So we haven't, I would say, even no supply in the country. So those I said, but those are the type of conversations that we're supposed to be having. I said somebody needs to belly cut, go past, not belly cut I should say, go past these low level conversations and start having the real conversations to really transform our
Thank you. And that will greatly change our education reality in Trinidad and Tobago in terms of how people see learning.
Yeah.
Because learning,
as apart from schooling.
Yeah. Learning is the key to survival. Right? If you're brain dead for too long, you'll be like the cemetery.
Yeah.
That is for real.
And ignorance is a prison,
Huh?
And guys, and what we should have do, we have curriculum. The wealth that passed through Trinidad, we should have been number one in troubleshooting for curriculum. We should have been number one for data security for curriculum. We should have been number one in computer programming and repairs.
We should be teaching Guyana oil and gas. We understand? Because
yeah.
Go ahead.
And before I leave, guys, from secondary school, you're supposed to teach children with the AI, have their laptops and teach them how to build a simple app to put on their smartphone. Everybody uses a smartphone.
Exactly.
And this is where you get the technology and this is where you get the innovation. You see, we cannot teach something and we're not taking them to the place where they manufacture it. We can just teach it. You see, it comes like we're teaching robotics. But we're not taking them to New York when they have the big robotic seminar. And we need to start to think outside. We can't stay in Trinidad. We need to take our students outside.
Exactly. See what's out there. Because when you go there, you see how the simple things, the simple processes we traverse every day, you see how it is utilized out there and make things smoother and more convenient and everything. It's just smooth. It's like grease. Everything just working in time. You walk out the road, you spend no time, you sit down on a train in seconds, a train reach. You reach where you're going. I mean, no loss of time. Nothing. Everything is just designed for convenience.
That's why I said we need an arm of design thinkers.
And the last thing before I leave, all we have to do is take the technology and the ideas that existed already and improve on it.
Exactly.
And this is really the critical thing.
Nothing is wrong with that. That too is innovation.
Right,
correct.
Yeah, of course.
You don't have to read
very.
Thank you. And the caller is so right, because I as I tell you, we're getting back to making the analogy with the pan. The University of Virginia took Ellie Manette. I don't know what he had or whether he had any papers, but somebody saw that this man can get these children to learn to play this instrument, play music. We need this man here.
Oh, and they poached him.
He died abroad. Ellie Manette. He died abroad. And so many of our people are finding spaces in other places where people say, but you onto something.
But what they will take them for granted here, though, I'm sure.
Well, here, you have to have a party card, and who your father is, and what school you went, and we still into what school you went. We still telling children that what school you went, and a lot of what we really, you know, I was again some of my Gaviism studies. Gavi said, you know, repatriation is not for everybody, yeah? Because some of you all are no use to Africa. It better always stay where you there.
Because somebody's house,
because we only want people who can move Africa forward, back to Africa. You see, all over the world, better always stay over there. Because with your...
Better always stay in the plantation.
Correct. Because you all will bring destruction and problems and negativity. Repatriation is supposed to be a move forward of development. And we ain't too sure that everybody that call African. Oh my Gavi said it. You see, some of all have no use, you know, some of all could stay where all they because you all will not develop the motherland. So we really have to re-engineer, and Umpire Matteson is quite right that now we believe we should have the pristine opportunity with 3 people in the wicket, all 3 are female, and you know, we men behave a particular way, there should not be that. And now is the opportunity to have those conversations that are beyond your lifetime. To be fair to the honorable captain, it is not about her lifetime anymore. Neither the bowling side. It's not about your lifetime anymore. It really has to be Trinidad and Tobago down the road. But as Stephen say, many of us are fearful of that. We need it now. We want to see the benefit of it now.
Or the other side can be saying, well, if we do that, them gonna look good.
Correct.
And it go. But think about it. Think about nationalism. Think about the country. Think about where we are. Think about, listen, necessity. I think it's the president who said necessity is the mother of all invention. You see, now that we in this crisis that we are in, and people don't know we really in a crisis. We really Trinidad and Tobago in a bad place, you know. We don't know that. The public don't know that. Public
money is just half of the problem.
Money is just half
because we will get that money and make it disappear.
But so now that is the necessity. So now is the time to innovate. Now is the time to create, to be creative. Now is the time to make something out of nothing.
But the first step of change management, the first step of making a change is having that sense of urgency. If no one is saying, hey, you're under problems, you know, oil and gas production for the last 10, 15, 20 years has dropped significantly. Employment in the oil and gas sector has dropped significantly. Foreign exchange, everybody knows the foreign exchange problems. We need to make a difference. And you know, when we started this conversation around 4:30, we spoke about comparative advantage.
Comparative advantage of trade.
Why we need to all the umpires and all the captains online, because somebody could say the source of comparative advantage is dead, you know, and the only way to move forward is innovation. Why? Right now, most countries have people who have MBAs. Because of the internet, everybody has access to information.
I think we are the most MBAs, boy. Trinidad Tobago, but we had to call it something else.
I have an idea, you said it just now. We could go to center, make a phone call to China, have some sort of manufacturing done with it.
Yeah,
so
and
that
China
if information not a competitive advantage and location commodities is not an advantage, what is your advantage in this space?
Exactly.
Innovation. Disruptive innovation using technology.
The great Israel has no human resource. Natural resource.
Innovation nation.
And they lead the world in finance and arms
and arms development and scientific warfare, hacking and all that kind of thing.
I was looking at the war in Ukraine, right? And I was seeing Ireland and Scotland positioning themselves to be leading supplier of drone technology.
You see?
And explaining that, listen to me. You see all this fighting with big plane and boom. That done, you know.
That done. A little 3,000 drone will mash up.
They have miniaturized.
Abraham that cost $300 million.
Correct. So developing the missile and the nuclear warheads is one thing. But developing the capacity to carry that via drone and miniaturizing that, it is out of this world.
Yeah.
And they are heavily investing in this drone technology, which is good for intelligence gathering, which is good. And again, Israel has been able, I mean, we're not boasting about the war, but when you look at how they have carried out their side of it,
yes,
you know, with precision sometimes, and that is because of technology.
Well, they'll again mash up now because
No,
Russia
well,
and China joining the...
Well, that's force,
Yeah.
right? But I'm talking about their comparative advantage.
Yes.
Size is not all it anymore.
Not anymore. I want anybody to go and look at the Global Innovation Index and think of the most prosperous and advanced countries in the world and see where they are advanced. Israel is ranked high. Ireland is ranked high.
Yes.
Right? Sweden, America, China. Where's Trinidad? We are 108th in the world. And it seems we are very comfortable. Nobody's saying, hey, 108? Jamaica is 77. Barbados is 79. In 2008, we were 68th. What happened? Well, we are now 108.
We fell off the horse.
And if innovation, so we need somebody needs to highlight that Global Innovation Index.
In the land
that
of
should
money.
be the parameter of our successful economic development.
In the land of money, with so much experience in oil and gas, we don't have an oil company out there competing. And when I hear about how good
all these oil companies
Yes.
giving us less than 3% of what
When I hear about how good
so
our
we just getting raped, we just getting sex with that dry,
yeah.
you know.
When I hear how good
No
our
problem.
when I hear how good
Comfortable.
our technocrats are, our civil servants are, our people in the field and developing, in long before many countries we were in it. Like we have gone the other direction.
That is what all these
I tell you,
figures say.
we should be teaching Guyana right now. We should be number one and go to
Yes.
in Guyana development right now.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, we are winding down, and we're going to give Mr. John Charles. I'll give you the closing comments.
Okay, thanks.
So I will go ahead.
I am fed up of us. We jamming, so we jamming still.
Yeah, we jamming.
We jamming still.
Yeah.
Going down in oil and gas. Going down on innovation based on the Global Innovation Index. But despite all these seemingly negative things, we have some bright spots.
Yes.
We have adopted the International Innovation Standard, the ISO 56001 as our national innovation standard. That's the first thing, should be our guide. We have things going on in UE. We have some new things going on in Korea. There's not being coordinated, but we have some bright spots. We need to have a national innovation policy, a national innovation agency, so we can at least start to strategically manage this thing from a country basis.
We need to have a national strategic plan that is
Well,
legislated
exactly. A national innovation strategy too, I would say, for that plan. And if we could get all our organizations to start to create innovation departments, start to manage innovation in best practice, we could start to make a change. We could have more all win-wins, more growth. And just very quickly as we wrapping up, I want to carry back an innovation department. That's just everything that are going on, these things only created. Phoenix Park has an innovation department. I see Rams Logistics has an innovation manager. Agostini Group has an innovation manager. So we have some bright spots, but we still need to get the government involved to give us the right support and funding to tell us, everyone, all our ships are going in the right direction with AI and with other technologies we see are great. So
Umpire Matterson.
Great. So we had a great discussion this evening, and I would like for us to follow up on it at our next entrance into the discussion. I don't know who the next batsman will be.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.